Hey everybody, Vincent Janito here. Welcome to another episode of IGN Plays Live. I'm here with my buddies Peter and Łukasz from CD Projekt Red,
Hey,
the
hey.
makers of The Witcher 3, a little video game you might have heard of that you'll be able to play next week. It's pretty good. It's okay. I gave it a 9.3.
Out
It's
of 20.
fine. Out of 10, right? Not out of 100. That would be a little bit less generous. But yeah, we're gonna sit here and play some Witcher 3. We're gonna take a look at No Man's Land, which is kind of the first really big sandbox area in the game. You know, White Orchard is still pretty sizable, but it's not one of the main.
Exactly. No Man's Land is the big main deal that you're going to be able to explore in
Let's
the
see
game.
that map.
Yeah, let's switch to it. All right. So many of you guys might already be familiar with this game map as we have showcased it before. So what we had in mind for today is that we're gonna ride across it and show some sights and just show you how much freedom and how much area you get to explore in one of the biggest parts of our video game. So as you can see, there's plenty of content, and we are definitely not going to be able to check everything out, but we want to show you like a decent portion of it.
It's like comical almost. So now, No Man's Land is actually the area south of Novigrad. So Novigrad is the big kind of cluster of pink and purple.
That over there, that city,
Yeah, and then
up there is Novigrad, and
Right.
the rest below it is called No Man's
No
Land.
Man's
Well,
Land, right.
originally referred to as Velen, but the recent situation has kind of turned it from a decent place to live to a not so decent place to live, but an
Right.
excellent place for adventure.
Yeah, you know, all the ruling class is pretty much vacated at this point, and it's just kind of the Wild West in a way. And whoever wants to rule does. So, which is an element of the story. We don't want to spoil anything though, so we'll see where that
Exactly.
takes
Many
us.
people will thank you for that. All right.
So cool. So we're gonna take like a walking tour, right? We're gonna head
Well-
south and just see what we run into.
Walking, running, and sometimes galloping, as we will continue the journey at some point on horseback. All right.
Should we take a walk through the Novigrad or just skip to the No Man's Land?
Fetch a horse. That's what I would do. So right now we are on Temple Isle, one of the northernmost points of the map, and this is a more relaxed part of town.
Yeah, Roach is just trotting through the streets as a horse does.
Exactly. He's well equipped.
He is
And
well. I saw your
he
weight
was just
limit.
hanging
Yeah,
around.
I got a lot of gear, so
Yeah,
I had to buy a better saddlebag.
Yeah, you just have to probably have a sick
Yeah.
saddlebag on here.
So we didn't want to run too much trouble, so we've set up a nice little adventure gear for Geralt.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, it's worth noting to folks watching at home, we are playing on the PC version
Exactly.
here, which is running at a pretty silky smooth. I mean, I don't know exactly the number, but it looks like 60 or north of 60 to me. So
Yeah, that's six.
can't really tell at home on the stream because the stream's mostly, I think, kind of locked at 30. But yeah, it's looking pretty smexy, pretty nice.
We also like to like it. Yeah. All right.
Real quick, little bit of housekeeping. Remember, guys, right now, if you have any questions, requests, comments, if you think I just look funny or smell weird, I don't know how you know how I smell from over the internet, but you can make a
does.
guess if you like. Hey, thumbs up, I get a thumb. Okay, that's good. I'll take that. But if you have any questions, anything you want to throw at us, be sure to tweet at us. Tweet at IGN with the hashtag Witcher3. And we will be sure to answer as many questions, take as many requests, or just scowl at you over the mean things that you say to us over the course of the show.
All right, so to pick up where we left off, we are still in Novigrad, and we are going to spend a little bit more time in it, just looking around at all the stuff that you can do. So this is obviously the biggest city in the world of the Wild Hunt, and you can do lots of stuff in it. You will have numerous quests that you can embark upon. You will have access to some excellent traders, contraband goods, whatever you might want to buy or craft at local vendors or craftsmen, and it's pretty damn huge, and it's multi-layered, as you will see as we're going to descend, leaving the temple bridge.
Yeah, the city's layout is really complex. It feels like a really architected city. Like it doesn't feel like a grid where it's just like, oh, you know, here's a square space and we put the shop. This shop is there and that shop is there. It feels like someone designed a city and went, well, this is the surface area we have to work with, and we have to make a multi-tiered, multi-layered, real urban environment.
Exactly.
At least urban by
It has always been
standards.
worked on and designed as a proper living city, so not just an area that's different from all the other places. Like if you look around, the composition and everything will be like on every corner. You will be able to make like postcard quality screenshots.
Oh yeah.
Our team spent quite a lot of time designing the layout. And most importantly, I would like to mention our God Almighty Lucian, who had like a tremendous amount of work invested into the city looking great.
Yeah, and certainly pulled it off. The city does look freaking gorgeous. So we do have someone has let me know that I smell like Doritos. Can you guys confirm or deny the Dorito
I
odor?
have not had Doritos yet, but if this is what Doritos smell like, then yeah.
Then you want Doritos? I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. Anyone on the
We jump
All right.
down.
Yeah. We should cut the chase short. Yep.
That's my favorite.
Do
jump.
not try this at home.
I actually haven't tried that dive yet. That looked fun.
Yeah,
So-
you need to press P before jumping, and then you can trigger it.
That's awesome.
So we are in the favelas, just south of Novigrad. This is a little bit more, not impoverished, but more suburban area. Under Novigrad, you will see these are cloth painters over here. So that's why you have some fancy colors on the ground. And you will find all sorts of people here as well. This is like the area that has all the supporting crafts and professions that support and supply Novigrad with stuff. The region is called Grassy Knoll, and it's a more pleasant, untouched by war region of the game world.
Yeah, again, and I'm going to be saying this a lot, and during this live stream, I feel, and that says a lot about the game. I mean, I've now played this game about 120, 130 hours, maybe. I don't think I've seen that district, except maybe in a side quest real quick, where I had to pass through it, which I won't get into. But it's just amazing to me how much there still is that I haven't seen and have no conception of. I mean, so much of it is just like, I had to pass here on the way there, but so many of these places have a story, even if it's not an actual story quest. Like, they all have... there's all a lore to it, and there's something you pick up just from listening to the city folk and seeing what's around. And man, there's some beautiful, beautiful vistas here.
Exactly. Like, weird as it might sound, even I am going to act and be genuinely surprised by some sections of the world map, because I'm supposed to have visited and played through all of it, yet there are unknown areas to me that I will be surprised to see.
Let me ask you a real quick question, Peter, because we got a pretty good question in here from Twitter from Arkham Inmate 25. Wants to know that if the best gear will it be crafted, or if you earn it from quests.
The best gear, as far as I know, is accessible through crafting.
Yeah, that's what I've heard
So
too.
there's a real value to what you're wearing. You cannot just buy everything in shops. Like, you will have access to some pretty decent gear from vendors, but the truly epic gear you will only be able to wear if you craft it.
It's more of about searching for receipts, fighting monsters that guard the receipts, and exploring the world. So basically, if you find an awesome receipt and pay the time to do it, then you reward it with awesome gear. WIthcer gear, which is one of the best gear in the game. But yeah, you can find a lot of decent gear by just exploring.
I would actually take the opportunity to give a little glimpse on the diversity and the variety of the armors that we have at our disposal in the game. So I'm not sure about whether we have the best gear available at this moment in our inventory, but we have quite a nice range of stuff that we can use. So it's not going to be only parameters and data. Like, you are going to be able to dress up Geralt in fancy outfits and costumes, each with different unique traits. Yeah, we have some
Tanky one.
And they look pretty.
pretty
all look different.
nice range of stuff.
I stuck with I was doing the cat school training
Mm-hmm.
perk, so I stuck with light armor through the whole way through. But I saw a lot of heavy and medium stuff that, just from a visual standpoint, made me jealous. I'm like, no, I want to wear that. I
Exactly.
want to look cool like that.
Exactly. And this is like, again, the tip of the iceberg. Like,
What
you-
are these Witcher pants you have?
Which one? Oh, those.
The green ones, yeah.
That's Griffin trousers.
Ah, okay, cool.
So that's one of the Witcher's gear. It's cool.
You can fly with them. No, you can't.
No.
Well, should we change our swords as well?
Yeah, exactly. Let's put them on. We have some pretty nice stuff. Exactly.
Yeah, the swords are pretty too.
I don't know what we're gonna explore. Should we
Yeah,
prepare
yeah,
for
exactly.
humans
Let's go
or-
south, and I really want to show the area below Grassy Knoll, Grey Rocks, even further down to the south. And let's go to that fort there called Heinhold. I really want to check that out. It's a nice place, but of course I'm a little bit biased. All right, yeah, let's call Roach, and let's check out Grey Rocks. So this was the war zone where the two armies from the south and the north clashed and ended up in a stalemate. So it's not going to look as nice as, for example, Novigrad and Grassy Knoll in the north. This is going to be a little bit more desolate, closer to an actual war-ridden.
As a lot of the game is, and that's one of the things I really like about it, is that Novigrad, you know, when you look at Novigrad, I mean, right now, in the daytime, a lot of the areas you guys went to just now, it looks fairly pretty, but even there's a lot, even in Novigrad, your first time in Novigrad, whoa, what's this?
Well, we got a quest.
Yep, we stumbled upon
Yeah, let's see
some
what
events.
this is.
Another one. Run along home with the rest.
Sir, show some mercy. We've not got nowhere to go. For us, it's Novigrad or death.
Had enough of you lots. Sod off, or I'll have you skewered.
Oh, hell no.
What should we do? Let's be merciful.
Vince?
Yeah, to let them through, yeah.
Desperate. Let him through.
There's gonna be some combat.
Fucking hell. How many
Oh, no
times
swearing.
Oh,
repeat this?
guard, Redanian guard. This is no, he's not. Is he Redanian? Yeah, he's.
To a pass.
Would he be Redanian?
I think so.
Wow. 100 crowns.
That's
He
a
doesn't
lot
know
of
that-
money.
He
That's a
doesn't know
lot
that
of
it's
money.
it's a family establishment.
I'd go with our face value. Let him pass if you know what's good for you.
Let him through before I get angry.
You won't like Geralt when he's angry.
Exactly.
A threat.
But I
You
like those
talk
mittens.
To me that way. Oh no. We're done. Get him.
Yeah, get him.
All right.
That's a great plan. It'll work out wonderful for you.
I didn't put any skill points in any tree, so basically I'm gonna have to do different.
Ah, you can totally do it.
Come on.
So yeah, this is something in the game. It does not scale to your skills. All of the challenges are master crafted, and Wukash had quite a bit of doing in it, right? Exactly. So even without the skills, if you're a good fighter like Wukash here, you can champion through it. But you will take a lot of practice. Yeah.
He's not gonna get up from that, I don't think. That's gonna hurt in the morning.
All right. So we've got good gear, but no skill points distributed. So that kind of sets us in the middle.
Sure. But yeah, Axie pretty good for this for this kind of a fight.
Yeah,
Nice.
an enemy, you get a higher chance to instantly finish him. So that's one of the best skills.
Yeah, whenever you're fighting humanoids, I feel like Axie is pretty strong.
Well, it depends on the difficulty. For example, higher difficulties, I prefer to use some passive skills for the beginning when I'm not having a crafted item.
All
Nice.
right.
Well done. Ooh, off with his head.
I was punished.
It's out of the ballpark.
You scraped by that. Like you said, without the skill points allocated, it can be tough.
Okay, let's maybe put some skills.
Yeah, exactly. Let's show the character screen after you get the swag from the guards. Of course, most important currency of the game is.
Your mic is. I'm gonna help you out.
Let me
here.
fix it.
Yeah, there you go. We want to hear that. We want to hear that beautiful voice.
Exactly.
Wugish, we want to hear you.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll give you an opportunity.
Yeah, let's go
to
through the
talk.
skill because I think the skill system in this game is way better than it's been in Witcher 1 and 2. It's a huge improvement, one of the biggest mechanical improvements in the game. So yeah, definitely walk us through it.
So which tree did you use while doing a review?
I was very sign focused because I'm a
Sign?
big fan of magic in games, and magic signs have always been kind of like, to me, one of the weaker parts of The Witcher. It's always been like I wanted to use them a lot, but it didn't seem like a huge payoff. But I felt the totally opposite way in Witcher 3.
Was
I
it
felt
more
like
defensive or more aggressive? Because
more defensive. Like Quen, to me, Quen is like huge. It's just such, especially when you get it upgraded all the way.
Well upgraded, it's really useful.
well, let's go that way. Or
So-
let's talk with through.
Yeah,
maybe
let's
first.
talk about the system. What I really dig about it, sorry to
go.
steal a word from you, is that after you've spent some skill points in your skills, it's not over, so you can still re-customize what you can do in the game. So, of course, with every level up you get, or every place of power you visit, you get a skill point that you can invest in various skills or abilities, like combat moves, signs, alchemy, and general skills. And the things you end up with, you can sort out. On the middle of the screen you can see some empty slots, and you can have, based on your level, several of them active. And this will give you an opportunity to customize your character for the upcoming challenge, because again, preparation is still an essential part of the game.
Right.
And the most important thing is that you will get a lot of skill points throughout the game, but you cannot achieve a state where you're good in everything. You will get to a point where you're pretty good at something you wanted to focus your character on. So it's like a really important choice and consequence system to pay attention to what you invest your points into.
Yeah, the slot system I feel like is really what handles that the most, right? Because it doesn't matter how many skills, it doesn't matter how many points you put into each of these skills and how powerful each of those skills become. You're only ever going to have 12 total slots,
At
skills
most,
you can
exactly.
slot. So you can't, even if you max out, I mean, I don't think you couldn't do it mathematically, but even if you maxed out like 15 skills, which you can't, like even if you did, you can't even slot them all. So you have to pick and choose.
That's part of the game, and being prepared. For example, you're building a melee build, and then you need to think how to compensate the lack of stamina regeneration, which you get from a science tree.
Yeah.
So there are synergies, for example, gear, runes that you have to take into consideration. Plus, you have to find those items, you have to craft them. So it's, besides that being complex, you have to think about other things as well, like armors.
And then there's the mutagens, right?
Yeah.
Exactly,
and that
that
to
give
me is
extra
the
effects
really
to the
huge thing.
Exactly.
Because now, each mutagen has its own little bonus, like 5% attack power, 50 extra vitality. It's sign intensity for the blue ones. But the idea is that once those go in the triangle, in the diamond shaped slots, and then for every matching colored skill you have slotted in that quadrant, it multiplies, it amplifies that bonus. So if you, I like it because it's really a reward for specialization. Like you really, in a lot of games, it's all about flexibility, but the person who decides to focus on one thing kind of gets shafted. But what I like in this system is that if you have, say, like I was really heavy into signs, so I would have a 10% sign intensity mutagen, and then I'd have that in 3 different slots, each of them fully slotted with 3 blue skills each, and my signs were just bonkers. Like they just became so overwhelmingly powerful, but that was at the expense of having literally no other skills in any other school.
And spending a lot of time searching for places of power that gives you additional points. As you can see, I got around 101 points, but we just farmed them before, so it's not that easy to collect them.
Yeah, it's a really cool system. It rewards specialization and making kind of permanent decisions, but it's also flexible. You can build Geralt out a lot of different ways.
Exactly. Because I've heard some comments that some people were worried, like new to the Witcher lore and everything, that Geralt seems like a very pre-made character with a lot of characteristics. So they were worried, like, how much freedom are they actually going to get when customizing skills? But as you can see, there is plenty of opportunity to create a character focusing on combat, science, which is basically our kind of magic, or alchemy and crafting. So there is a lot of opportunities to try out your individual notions to apply on Geralt.
I've got another cool question also from Arkham Inmate 25. Thanks for the good questions, man. Wants to know, can you kill or fight anyone you want at any time? And I know the answer to this question, but I'd love to hear you guys answer because I think it's very important.
There is a certain limit to it. Of course, you cannot kill everyone because we wanted to maintain an atmosphere to certain locations. But whenever you see a worthy enemy, you will be able to fight them.
Yeah, I think it's, and just like to kind of piggyback on that, I like how the ways in which you guys limit that, because I get it. People think it's fun. They think it's cool. It's an expression of freedom, I guess. But at the end of the day, killing every person in a village there's no meaningful way to advance forward from that story-wise or gameplay-wise to me. Like, that's just not interesting. You know,
Exactly.
the state of that it puts the world in is not interesting. So I'm glad you guys. There's so much freedom in this game. There's so much you can go out and explore and do and find. But it's not the Wild West. Like, you can't just destroy whatever you want.
And there's going to be plenty of other opportunities to see the consequences of your choices. So
Right.
you will not feel cheated because of this.
Right, and that's much more interesting. Like those ways of affecting the world are way more interesting than look. This place is a ghost town now because I killed everyone because I think that's funny. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah, still, you can try, but then you will have to fight the guards. You will probably have a hard time doing that and probably lose. But well,
Let's
you cannot
go.
try kill the whole village, but you can just try to mess with the guards.
Exactly, because guards are going to mess you up, like most of the time. Exactly. All right, let's continue. Let's see. Yeah, we've got the location we wanted to check out on the map, right?
Not so fast, Roach.
Well, it's not that one, but let's check it out.
That's totally
Looks
fine.
like an interesting one all the same.
We can totally check this out as well, if you want to. Seems like a small outpost.
No best here.
No. I don't think it's a quest location.
Or at least not now at this point in the story. It's
Exactly.
not. It might become one
I think
later.
what we want to check out is on the other shore. So yeah, let's
swim there.
try some swimming. I think the water looks gorgeous. I really dig how it looks. Oh, that's the thing exactly. On the other shore. Yeah, so we have plenty of underwater locations
Oh, yeah.
and underwater exploration for you to try. You will stumble upon some smuggler caches every once in a while. If you explore, so all sorts of explorations are rewarded, and of course there are some herbs that you can harvest and gather that only grow here underwater. You might remember the griffin fight and the preparations from other streams and other gameplay
Yes.
videos. Like it was part of the quest to find buckthorn, I think it was called, underwater. And as you can see, there are several other kinds that you can find here. And there will be a lot of others that you will only be able to find at certain specific locations.
So I have another good question here.
Just a sec.
Ooh, sweet.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, this is
Oh.
one of the more special enemies.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be pretty bad.
Oh, she's level 18. Yeah, we can spend a little time explaining what you can see in the interface and how it can help your adventure. Like a small bar above the creature you see contains some bits of information. A green number you can see, that is the character's, the enemy's level.
Yep.
And you can compare it to your level and do the simple math. If it's higher than yours, you will have a hard time defeating it. Then the other bar, the most prominent one, which is currently silver, is the health bar. The color indicates the kind of sword you need to use against them.
Right.
And basically, the lower it is, the happier Geralt is. And right under that, the little plague yellow bar is
The stamina.
The stamina, exactly. So if you bring that down, they will have a hard time blocking or parrying your attacks.
Oh. There's also a flashing moment on a health bar that indicates the time open window for a counterattack that Geralt can do. Let's finish her off. Oh, she's dead.
Nice.
Yeah, water hags go down real easy to fire.
Oh, shit.
That was a nice fight.
Let's take a swag.
Always, never ignore them. Alright, so we are at Grey Rocks, and if you take a look around, you will see that
Oh, stumbled upon.
I cannot finish a sentence without stumbling upon some quest or adventure,
It's so hard.
which is an awesome thing.
Well, let's just go to the fort.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
really don't want to spoil all the adventure for you guys. So if you're curious what the Dead Man has to offer quest-wise, you will need to buy the game and and read it yourselves. We're going to take a more casual, touristic approach.
So while we're looking for this loot cache, the question that came in.
Oh yeah, sorry.
From Deathwish. Thanks for watching. Wanted to know two things: what specs we're running this on, and well, yeah, that's the first thing. So what specs are we running this on right now? Is this medium? Is this ultra? Like what is?
It is ultra.
We're on ultra here. Okay, so this is theoretically as good as it gets.
Exactly.
Cool. And if you're also wondering what kind of a rig we're running this on, we've got a GTX 980 under the hood, and
I
Oh,
started-
actually, this is you guys' own rig, right? This isn't one of this isn't one of ours. This is one of
Yeah,
yours.
but-
No, 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 it's ours.
But it's the same thing. You guys have a GTX 980 and I assume a Core i7.
yes.
Cool. Yeah.
It's like,
So
it's a pretty decent rig.
yep. So that's what we're running on here. And the other question was, why did you guys feel like adding a jump when jump has not been part of the other Witcher games?
Because most importantly, we wanted to have an open world to give room to the amazing, huge story that we had in mind, and having an open world kind of calls for a lot more exploration, a lot less gamey, a lot more analog, so players can actually do what they want to do. And jumping is a vital part of that. So we wanted to make it very, very comfortable and immersive. And if you apply a lot of decent exploration to your adventures, I think that helps you kind of immerse yourself better in the game world. And we experimented a lot with it, and I think it works nicely.
Yeah,
I mean,
really
I really, really dig the additional verticality of the game, because exploration like that is always a fun addition if done properly. And I think it's working nicely in The Witcher.
Sure, I agree, and-
Complements the adventure.
And I think another important thing that shouldn't be underestimated is like when your character can't jump, it really constrains how you guys design the world, right? Like it becomes like you have to think to yourself, oh, if I want there to be some kind of verticality, I got to make sure there's a way for this character for Geralt to get up there from some route. And I feel like that complicates. It kind of abstracts how you have to design the levels, because then you can't make it look natural or look like a
Exactly.
normal, like a map like that or a situation
Exactly,
like that
you have
normally
to
would.
design slopes everywhere, and it doesn't
Yeah.
look as natural. And the natural visuals and natural composition and location design has always been a vital part in designing the locations for The Witcher. Like you will see that basically how we did it is created a very natural environment, like all the hills, all the terrain, and then applied all the villages, locations, points of interest, caves, and everything to it as it feels natural, and how it's convenient, how it eases into the landscape.
Sure, absolutely.
Every single location has been designed like that. And yeah, basically, if you wouldn't have exploration, you would have to force a lot of gamey solutions to the level, and it really wouldn't feel nice. Like we have tried many things. We have tried that as well, give an ease of access without jumping or massive exploration to places, and it doesn't feel natural. It's not good.
So Łukasz has decided he's made a very, very big move here. He's like, you know what? This is just too easy. I'm too good. I'm too good at this video game.
Yeah, I played
Huh?
a lot. I played a lot.
So to make things a little bit more interesting for you folks at home, Łukasz has moved us up to the next difficulty level from where you guys were.
He also likes to live life dangerously.
Hey, you're a Witcher. You got to live a little dangerously. So before we jump back in and see more what's going on here, let me just quick plug. You guys are watching IGN Plays Live right now. We're doing The Witcher 3 at the moment, but we've got a lot of other stuff coming up this week and later today. So let me run that down for you. Right after this stream at 3 o'clock will be a live edition of Podcast Beyond. So stay tuned with us afterwards for that. Later on in the week, on Friday, we will be starting at 12 p.m. with some Rock Band 4. And then we'll be doing that again on Saturday, rerunning that. Oh, no, I'm sorry. My bad. That's not Saturday. I know how to read. Yeah. So Rock Band 4 will be Friday at noon, same channel. And then at 1 o'clock on Friday, we'll be doing more of The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt. It's a game that you're looking at right now. Next week, Tuesday, we will be at 10 a.m. going over some Destiny House of Wolves, the new Destiny expansion. And then also on Tuesday, after that at 1 o'clock, we will be doing even more Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt. So lots more coming up from IGN Plays Live, both today, later in the week, and next week as well. So that said, all hell is breaking loose over here right now. You're fighting some harpies.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We have
I'm
stumbled
down.
upon a harpy nest atop this long abandoned dungeon. We're waiting for them to re-emerge from behind the walls. Oh yeah, let's try some items.
Yeah, that crossbow. Ooh.
Oh, that was a miss. No. Need to wait for her.
Whack a harpy. It'll come back. They usually do. There you
She
are.
dropped right. Oh, nice. Still on fire slightly. She might die in the air. No?
That's just.
One of my favorite things was hitting them with Ard as they came swooping in, and then watching them spiral down to the ground.
Yeah, I love them.
Where is she?
You totally missed that.
I know. Okay, let's
Like, you
move
should have
on.
seen Wukash the other day. He kills, like, cats, dogs, and goats with such ease when just strolling on the back paths of the land.
Where is she?
Oh, there's another one.
There's another one.
Alright. Well, there's a nest
There you
here,
go.
right? There you go. Nasty, nasty. Nice.
Done.
Like it. I like it.
Alright, so we are at a location that I think has a harpy nest, which you can destroy. I think it's on the outside. Yeah, I know.
Some
Swag, I know, swag.
Gotta get that swag. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
We have found some pretty
You got
awesome...
a Witcher
Yeah.
diagram.
The griffin sword, I think, right?
And a new crossbow that I cannot equip yet.
Yeah, I didn't see very many of the Witcher diagrams throughout the course of the game. Those were whenever I saw one that was like a woo, I got it.
Yeah, this
Some
is one of
shiny.
the locations that you might want to visit for them.
Wow.
All right.
Dope. So we got a question from Ryan Roselle on Twitter. Thanks for tweeting at us, Ryan.
Yeah, there it is.
He asks, how many different potions are in the game?
Wukash?
Well, let's go through it. We get the basic versions, which you can see here. Those are probably easy to get the receipts and craft.
Some of them might sound very familiar from earlier Witcher titles.
Yeah, and then there's also beside the potions, which there's I think these aren't all the potions. I don't think,
No,
right?
no, this is
There's-
not the potions, and
there's
then
still
we
plenty
have
more.
the upgraded versions, which have more stacks, more higher effects.
And there's 2 upgrades to each, right?
Yes.
It's there's the enhanced and the super version of each of those. But then going even beyond that, there's obviously oils, which make their return. A lot of different oils. But then there's the decoctions, and the decoctions are really interesting. I don't know if you have any of those.
No, currently
made.
not.
But the decoctions have so many crazy effects on them, like that facilitate specific play styles. I saw one decoction that reduced, massively increased the fear threshold for your horse, and made like all your mounted attacks do way more damage. So it's a potion that you just quaff, and then you just become this killing machine when you're on your horseback.
Yeah,
And
it's amazing.
You're telling me all sorts of cool things about the game that I didn't even read.
yeah, so the decoctions I think add a whole lot to the potion game. But the thing with the decoctions is that they're very powerful. So because they're so powerful and they last for like 10, 20 minutes at a time, a lot of them, their toxicity is like 80 or 100. Like you need if you drink that potion, you're not going to be drinking Swallow.
Yeah, it's a good synergy with Alchemy build.
Right.
So yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
What should we do? Should we go visit some other places?
Yeah, definitely. Let's go check out White Eagle Fort, maybe?
Okay. White Eagle Fort.
Exactly. It's not too far away. And we'll get to see a little bit more of Grey Rocks, the northern part of it. Yeah, so this location, for example, it's not part of the quest. It's just a dungeon that you can explore. And it has, for example, cool swag and a bunch of pretty cool monsters that you can fight. And you will find a whole bunch of these locations that you can explore. And some of them have some really, really cool challenges, but you're gonna find some really epic loot behind.
Or maybe we should see the Devil's Pit.
Oh, we can go to Devil's
That's
Pit
an
as well.
awesome place.
Definitely.
It's fast travel there.
Yeah, I like the fast travel system that you guys went with. It's not completely unrestricted, but it's a nice balance between being like, hey, there's no point in me walking anywhere, and I'm never going to walk anywhere because I can just fast travel everywhere, and and the alternative, which would be like, hey, no fast traveling at all. It's basically if you're at a fast travel point, you can go to other fast travel points, but if you're between fast travel points, you have to get to a fast travel point.
Exactly. So
You
your
need to discover
exploration
them
is
first.
rewarded, and it's not too digital. So it's not like you can catch a cab anywhere in the game world.
Right, exactly. And like you said, like Łukasz said, you have to discover them first. So
Exactly.
At least at the start of the game, you really have to at least go everywhere on foot once before you can
Exactly. You
fast
need to
travel.
unlock them. Works the same way with the sea fast travel points. So yeah, the Devil's Pit, a little lower. Like Grey Rocks got its name because of the granite repositories. It has basically the city of Novigrad was built out of the bits of Grey Rocks. And this is one of the old quarries that has been closed down and is being used for something completely different, but you will find that out in the game. And in this particular case, you can find some folks there who do not like you being there.
I think I need to switch the difficulty level because of my gear is not that good. And I'm receiving.
You're doing good. Doing fine. Yeah, getting beat up a little bit, but oh yeah, finish him. Yeah.
Oh, nice, lovely. So yeah, we can take a little look around, see how different this place is. So yeah, this is what I enjoy a lot in the game, that there's a great diversity in the locations while still maintaining a lot of visual consistency.
Yeah,
Careful, the drop is pretty.
Yeah, that would be scary. I really do like the fact that there isn't too much an overabundance of variety, right? Like there's variety in terms of architecture, there's variety in terms of what the locations actually are, but in terms of their style and the overall ecosystem, it's more or less the same. But that's good. Like there's a unity of place to the map in Witcher 3.
So there's consistency, but there's still a lot of diversity.
Yeah, you don't feel like you're looking at the same thing all the time, but everything looks like it's from the same place, which is how it should be.
Exactly. Oh, nice.
There's not that much space.
Well, he's not dressed for our combat style, right?
Oh, he's doubting me.
This person is basically fighting nude. You just killed the dude in his underwear. How does that feel, Wookish?
Awesome.
It's not very knightly of you.
No, it's not. But Witchers aren't exactly the most honor.
Exactly.
Honor is not really their thing.
Exactly. As he says, we are not here to preach morals, right?
Right.
Well, when it comes to combat, there's no honor. You
Yeah.
just have to beat them. But
Exactly.
So we have another pretty good question that came in. And this is something that I've been wondering myself. I've read some things about it, but I've never seen a definitive answer. What is the level cap in Witcher 3?
I think it's you know that better.
well, we don't have a level cap. You can level. I don't want to.
The last skill point
yeah.
is unlocked at 50. Is what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
Is what I've heard.
Yes.
And I know that from my travels in the game, which are by no means like definitive and like comprehensive and complete, because there's still so much in this game I haven't seen. But I've seen gear that requires at least level 39 to wield.
There are some pretty epic gears with high requirements.
Yeah, and I hit 30 with the last stroke of my sword in the story. Like
Nice.
when I killed the last thing that you kill in this game.
There's a lot of content that just proceeds further away after you reach a level.
So long play is rewarded. Like you won't find the best gear by the half of the game and play the rest of the game with that. So you will find some pretty interesting stuff by the end of it if you've spent some more time.
Let's start with the troll.
This is an awesome side quest.
Okay, let's do it.
You mans! Here, Redania Camp Army! No cross, no boat steal!
Redanian army? Where are you hiding them?
In here! Me! No see mans? Join me! King Ravodid Army!
Rabbit.
Exactly.
I did the voiceover.
No,
I'm kidding.
Boats are in bad shape.
I would fit that character.
Yeah, if you haven't, because you haven't played, most of you haven't played, shouldn't have played, unless you're a critic or reviewer. But yeah, the king's name is Radovid, not Ravidid.
Exactly.
But he's a troll. Give him a pass.
Well, he's not a grammar Nazi, right?
Why'd you join the army? Someone recruit you?
Crude? No crude. Come good soldier mans. Say chargy man. Wants boats. Peasanters, they steals. Peasanters' boats.
He's a very keen soldier.
Think I do. Redanians seized some peasants' boats. Thought the peasants might try to take them back. What happened next?
Did you do that quest?
No, I didn't.
All right.
Soldier mans drink
and sing, not sing. Listen, troll. Buff, come peasanters, swing sharpie sticks.
I love
I
that.
help one army, runner to runner. Holla peasanters, holla soldiermans.
Gentle.
Move them apart, but all lie down. Soldiermans too. But
Girl said,
order had me
I get
watch
it.
boats. And what I? Trollololo soldier man now.
That's his name, by the way.
Soldier sing too. You for sing you?
No thanks.
Ah,
You earlier. But
Come on,
listen,
girl.
the bodies.
don't be a spoil
seeing it.
sport.
Hungry go. Should no waste. Peasanters good food. Soldier man friends. Not so good big stew. Always good.
Guess I understand. Wartime rules?
Man's soldier man too.
Uh-oh.
No.
Makes man soldier man. Trollo, chargy man. Say, bring paint. And man brings paint.
Paint? What are we talking about?
Geralt, I love how Geralt is like so embattled and flustered in this game. Like he's like, guys, I just have someone to find. Like I don't have time for this right now.
Exactly. After having killed a bunch of creatures and all sorts of enemies, you end up in this conversation.
Yeah, you're like, what?
Fine. I'll try to find some paint for you.
Good mans. Redani army. No service forget.
So, but let's.
And chiefed and merchant. It can never did you go.
Love this bit.
Now in the army goes to you. In the all. The boy now in the
That's too much.
I think that's enough
I want the MP3.
as a ringtone.
Love it. So we do have a request. Once we do this quest, do our thing, but some people want to see Gwent.
Whoa.
Some people wanna see
Gwent, we didn't really want to do right now because it takes a lot of time to get into it,
Yeah.
and I think more people, like judging by the feedback we got earlier, would be looking forward more to the action for
Okay.
open world exploration. So unfortunately, we'll have to disappoint this one fan.
Okay.
Learning the basics takes time, and
Exactly.
you have
Sure.
to go through everything.
Yeah, this is
Well-
something we actually wanted to talk about. Like, our mini-games are not mini-games per se, just for the sake of having mini-games in the game. Like, Gwent is a full-fledged, awesome sub-game in the whole game, totally part of the whole lore. Plus, you can gather a lot of game cards, I think 140 game cards throughout the game world, so
Yeah.
it nicely ties in with the rest of the adventure.
Gwent-
It's a very, very cool thing, but it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, Gwent is pretty darn good. Yeah, you guys definitely took instead of like a bunch of little like shallow mini games, you definitely took let's make one big mini game that kind of spans the world and kind of connects everything.
I don't
and,
even think it's fair to call it a mini game anymore.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
In the same way that like you couldn't really call like Blitzball a mini game in Final Fantasy X or you know Triple Triad a mini game. Like those were just games that were within a game, and Gwent definitely feels that way. But no Gwent today.
But you can surely try it out in a full game.
yeah.
I know that sounds bad, but still.
No, and I'm actually planning a feature on Gwent. I actually
That's
really
awesome.
like Gwent, so I'm going to be doing a feature just about Gwent and my thoughts on Gwent.
So now we are closing in on Oxenfurt. This is where King Radovid the Stern resides with his part of the army, and it's not easy to access.
No passage.
Case of the plague surface in the city or something?
The plague? No. We're to not let folk in the city. It's an order, so I don't, unless someone's got a pass.
What kind of pass are we talking about?
Well, a normal one. A transit pass.
Who issues them?
How should I know? I'm a lowly soldier.
Self-awareness.
You're talking to the messenger. Like,
Farewell.
Alright, so Vukash, do you know any way to get around this gate?
Yeah, we can take a shortcut.
Alright.
a shortcut.
I highly encourage you to take the shortcut.
Is this a shortcut of the legal variety?
Yay.
Oh, nice.
It's a shortcut of a very dangerous variety. Alright, so this is again to emphasize that the open world is not a linear adventure. Like, if you can find or come up with a solution, an idea, a workaround to get into places, then you can probably do it, and just solve situations like this.
Even the monster contracts, correct me if I'm wrong, please, but I feel like even the monster contracts, the monster, like picking up the monster contract to hunt and kill a monster from a notice board, that's not what generates the monster. The monster exists there in the world, right? So you could theoretically just be wandering around and you could stumble upon.
This is a very important and very, very cool part of the game. So every monster there's a contract for is a part of the game world, part of the environment, and there are several ways you can make contact with them. Like, for example, as you said, you can pick up the contract from signposts, learn about the monster, and then track their marks down and get to them. Or you can stumble upon their marks by your simple exploration. So basically, you can
by just talking with some poor villagers.
Exactly, like you can even eavesdrop on two villagers talking, like there's been some mysterious disappearances and stuff like that, and that kind of gives you a point of interest on the map or something to examine. Or you can actually stumble upon the monster and duke it out and then find out whether there was a contract for him. Some contracts will be cancelled if you kill the monster before finding the contract because the people will go like, reward? No reward. Go have fun in the forest, whatever monster you kill, for free, of course.
Should we take a tour via boat or just go for the troll quest?
Let's go back to
Okay.
or what? It's up to you, Vince. What do you want to do?
No, let's do Trollolol a solid, and
Let's get his paint.
let's get some paint for Trollolol.
All right,
He seems like a good sort. Maybe he'll sing us another song.
exactly. It's highly rewarding. Let's get back to Oxenfurt because now we have found passage.
And trolls are definitely not the type that you want to, disappoint.
You don't want to troll a troll.
No, you don't. So yeah, you just were like, well, forget everything. I'm just gonna jump off this bridge and swim to shore.
Well, they probably think you're dead.
Yeah.
So this is Oxenfurt. It's another city in the game world. It's not as big as Novigrad, but it's a fairly decent city. It's right next to Gust Fields, fairly rich region of the world.
Yeah, and this is a hot spot for artists. Yes.
Yes. This is a place we wanted to check.
Ah, yes.
It's
Here
not
we
that
go.
one.
Yeah.
Is it that one?
No, it's a different barber, but still, this is where you can get fancy. No, the other barber is in Novigrad, but we can go there as well.
Yeah, there's a few barbers I ran into a barber in a pretty random out in the middle of nowhere island in one of the other game areas.
There are several.
So,
Real-time beard.
Yep.
In action.
which is awesome, and actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but whether or not you let that beard grow out will impact some conversations that you have later in the game. I don't know if you know the ones I'm talking about specifically. I don't want to get spoilery.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
not get into the details.
Okay, well,
Oh, you're a completely different person, Geralt.
I'll say, what I'll say is someone noticed that I let my hair grow out, and yeah, worked out in my favor. Just gonna say that.
So long.
It's a neat detail.
Looks awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
You're fabulous.
Yeah. I need to change armor. So
Because it doesn't go well with your current hairstyle, of
doesn't
course.
fit my hairstyle.
So back to Twitter for a second. Janet Kowalska, thanks so much for watching, Janet. Throws to us, wants to know, after the story, can I still play in the open world? And I can answer that one. I know, of course, that you can. After you defeat the final challenge, the game will kind of bring you back. It'll reinstate the world state from right before that fight and just put you out in the open world, but without access to story quests. So you will no longer be able to do anything that's story related. That does not mean you cannot affect the world. There are still side quests,
Many locations.
and many locations where you can change the world and see the results of your decisions on the lives of the people of the land. But
Plus, as you have mentioned earlier, by the time you finish the story, you probably have not maxed out your character yet, and
Right.
you still have a lot of room for development and a lot of other challenges that you can find in the game world that you can prepare for and explore.
This is another feature. For example, if you encounter a shopkeeper
Uh-huh.
who's specialized in some part of well,
some form of commerce that they are focused
yes,
on.
you cannot sell them every items you want,
Right.
because a guy who's a herbalist doesn't want your swords or your bombs. So
Vegetarian
Uh,
herbalists will not be
yeah.
interested in your meat products.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure, and one
that's important part of economy.
it is, because something that I found early, first of all, something I really appreciate about the game, and this is even on normal difficulty, not even on hard difficulty, which I can't wait to dig into more, but even on normal difficulty, I found that early in the game, I was broke all the time, and I love that, because in most RPGs, honestly, you reach a point very quickly where you're just so rich that money doesn't even matter anymore.
Exactly.
And you just don't care about where you earn it or how you earn it. It's just always there when you need it. And that was not the case for, like, you'll reach a point in the game where you'll get a pretty nice payday. Again, don't want to be spoilery, don't want to say what that is, but you get a pretty decent payday, and that will kind of fish you out of whatever hole you might feel like you're in at that point, and kind
Exactly.
of set you up pretty well for the rest of the game. But even then, you can't be reckless with your money. Like, you always have to be careful about, how much wear and tear you're putting on your equipment, and spending money to repair it, and buying and selling things is always really important. Like the pelts that you get. The pelts are some of the best-selling items in the game, but there's so few vendors that will actually purchase them. So if
Yep.
you find a vendor that'll buy a wolf pelt, buy a bear pelt, buy a horse hide off of you,
Then you can get rid of them from your inventory,
You can-
but still their money repository is limited, so you cannot just spam the pelts on everyone.
exactly, that's the thing too, is that even if you find a vendor that does buy and sell that stuff, if they only have a couple of 100 crowns in the bank, they can probably only buy so many off of you. So it's interesting. The economic model is actually surprisingly, it's refreshingly kind of stingy and realistic, where you have to.
And you can
There's
kind
no
of
easy
make a
way to get
living
rich.
if you want to. Like, if you want a few extra crowns or whatever, if you pay attention to the prices in the different regions, you can actually benefit from the situation.
Yes.
Like, buy cheap, sell expensive.
Right.
And yeah, this is something our game designers put a lot of effort into. So everything you have in the game has value. So there's no real junk. You will find junk items, of course, but even they have value.
Yeah, and still you can dismantle
Them and make them into
Exactly,
into-
ingredients
Yeah,
Yep.
nuts.
and raw materials. All right, follow.
Private Snake, report on order.
Just so happens I have some paint on me.
Oh! Oh! Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
Has paid, but how? Dunno.
No skills. General trait of any troll.
Problem.
Man's how no. I order. Man's no.
Yes, Geralt, please give the troll painting lessons.
Depends what?
Birdo gunnery. Redania Birdo. Shields like.
Let's do it. Let's
Do it. Let's
totally do it.
Guess I can give it a
Geralt's
shot.
got
Got
this.
a brush?
Beautiful. Pretty Birdo.
Beautiful.
That's my next tattoo right there.
Man's good. Not like other men take use.
He likes this.
Good stuff.
You see the paint?
Yeah, exactly. It's there. I think it's wonderful.
So there you go. Your choices change the world, folks.
Exactly. Another day, another huge difference Geralt made.
Saving the world.
Exactly. One troll at a time.
That's terrific. So let's stop for a second and look at the map. I
Oh,
want
yeah.
to see how far from our starting point have we actually managed to venture.
So yeah, we actually didn't cover as much distance as we wanted to, but I think it's
And
perfectly
we also
fine.
we also
Yeah.
fast traveled.
Exactly.
You cheated, Łukasz. You
Yeah, I wanted
cheated.
to make it good.
So in the past 2 hours, we have done distance between that point that Łukasz just highlighted now and that point.
Yeah, we've been on for about an hour, but still, that's there's still so much more to go, and so much we passed along the way.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sorry, 1 hour. Exactly, not 2 hours. I'm off by an hour.
We're here for another hour still.
Exactly.
Don't try to run out on me yet, just yet, Peter.
All right, so let's continue our exploration.
Cool.
And let's go further south. What do you say?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, actually, why don't we show people an abandoned site and what that's all about?
Which one?
Just that one right. How about that one
Oh,
right
exactly.
there? Yeah, make your way down to that one. So now abandoned sites. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, abandoned sites are places, little townships or little kind of vendor areas that have been abandoned because of a nearby monster infestation.
Exactly.
So these are places that usually there's nearby monster lair of some kind, and if you get rid of that monster pit, then theoretically people can come back to that area. That was just disrespectful, Wukish.
Maim the dead. So they're going to be quite similar to what we saw on the top of that tower. So there's going to be a nest surrounded by a lot of monsters, and if you can get rid of that nest by putting a bomb inside that destroys it, then you can basically remove the infestation from that area, and people will reoccupy that particular place. So, for example, that might unlock a lot of interesting things. Some quests, maybe unique vendors that can take the pelts off you, or several other things. Those guards are
Away.
persistent.
Yeah, they tough. Here's the roll.
Oh, it is a lovely place, Grey Rocks. Bunch of
Oh yeah,
dead people.
just so picturesque.
Some of the gallows, you can actually read some notes about the dead people hung. I think.
Oh wow, yeah.
Exactly. Found guilty of fleeing the field of battle and endangering the lives of his brothers in arms. And now he's swinging.
Yep.
That's
Alright.
a poor guy.
Now that's kind of that's a lot worse than how they do it in things in Skelegrad, in the in the Skellige Islands.
Skellige Islands.
Yeah, where they people who abandon the battlefield there are branded as they lose their name. They basically don't have an identity anymore. They're shamed. Their family is shamed.
Oh yeah, like
They get to live.
Again, we don't want to spoil major story elements, but there are parts where you can actually learn about this part of the lore. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, there's that's what I love about the world is that there's different kinds of people who have different kinds of traditions, and those traditions matter, and they play a role not just in the story but just in your interactions with them and the conversations you have. It's very cool.
Exactly. So we have,
Whoa.
Yeah, careful. Drowners are so treacherous early in the game.
and they're quick.
Yeah.
Like you would think like, yeah, they're the mobs that I'm going to just slash for experience. Well, no.
Just a sec. I need to tune something.
Oh no!
Wukish has given up on his.
You can do this. I believe. I believe.
Oh.
Lucas, I believe.
I'm
Yeah,
really,
Igni is
really
everything.
rooting for
Igni
you.
is everything against these guys.
Oh, fire beats water.
Yep.
Careful.
Igni. Yep. Just let him die.
We need to make a save file. Just-
You can do it. You can do it.
Yes.
Oh, sweet victory.
Woo.
And this is your reward. People come back.
Awesome. And now some of these vendors, they might have a quest for you. They might sell you rare items. They might have things like recipes, diagrams that you might not be able to get anywhere
And
else.
they will repopulate the area. For example, yeah, this is a merchant.
Wouldn't mind a look at your stock.
So
Cool.
she
He's
said,
got some runes for a greater rune. That's nice.
Let's buy some chicken.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, you need to eat. You need to get your health up.
Conan's favorite.
That's on the sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
Chicken.
Ah, yeah.
Chicken.
Chicken is good. Like storing food as a food item as your secondary quick slot item is very, very useful because they will initiate like a regeneration for you, so it replenishes your health slowly but steadily for a
Yeah,
short
and so-
amount of time.
Especially important when playing on a harder difficulties where you don't have health regeneration during meditation.
Exactly.
So you need to cover that.
Yeah, and I actually like that. Like it's nice, I guess, for the lower difficulty levels for people to be able to meditate and just get their health back. But it is really nice to not have that as an option, only because it starts to make so many of the other resources in the game actually matter a lot more, and I prefer that. I like that.
So, if we want to continue our exploration, we can actually go further down to the south. There's still a lot of distance to be covered. There's a huge mountain over there right next to that island called the Simpa. And there are all sorts of monsters there that we can check. And I remember some caves that we can check out, because
okay.
we haven't been to, for example, like that. Or we can go to the east and check out the different locations. I know some pretty awesome spots that we can show without spoiling anything major. So, cave or seaside?
Cave.
All right,
Let's go south towards the cave.
Let's go for the cave. We can go for a fast travel spot, or we can just go there.
Go manually. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let's show the people the world.
That's part. That's part of the fun of this game, is just getting lost in the open world and seeing what you see as you go.
Yeah. So meditation. Yeah, we have mentioned this several times. This will allow you to fast forward time, and the actual time of day has an effect on gameplay. Like quest availability will be affected by it. Some quests will only be available during nighttime. Some others during daytime.
Certain monsters only come out.
Monster activity is affected by it. Also, you can just trigger some awesome weather effects or environmental things. Like the night is freaking beautiful. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, you guys have a full daytime nighttime cycle.
Exactly.
Every minute takes about like 5-6 seconds to pass or so. It is that
I have not measured it, but yeah,
that's about. I measured it once, and it's about 5 or 6
it's not
seconds.
actual 24 hours a day.
Right, but it's still pretty. It's still pretty sizable. Ooh, nice.
Also, wolves are quite formidable. I also thought that they're going to be the easy enemies that you can
No,
fight.
in packs they are so treacherous.
Exactly.
As you'd expect wolves to be, right? But yeah, you have the full day-night cycle, but you also have dynamic weather. The weather is not scripted. The weather is dynamic. So, yeah, time of day and location and weather really kind of adds like a very organic feel to the environments. Like they don't always look the same. They don't always feel the same. A lot of different moods it sets.
And the system behind it, we have experimented with it a lot. Like the guys responsible for it have invested incredible amounts of effort and time to make it feel natural. Like there's been a lot of work put into how the weather changes, how fast storms roll in and stuff like that, the lightning, how it looks, how it lights the environment, and of course that applies differently to each hub. Like for example, White Orchard, the first area you're in looks completely different, like very, very characteristic to that area, and you will see a completely different weather system in No Man's Land, and of course Skellige is entirely different as well. So there's a lot of unique things to see.
One of the people, someone is asking about what the horse's fear level is. And,
well, the horse is of course a living creature, part of the whole living world, and it is affected by the events happening around it. So if there's combat going around the horse, for example, then it might start to panic. That you can fight in different ways. Like you can disengage combat, wait until she calms down, and then get back to the combat, or get off the horse before they panic and throw you off, or use Axie, because if you sit on horseback, you can use your Axie skill, that is basically a charm, to calm down the horse, and they will be able to persist longer in a combat situation. So it is another layer of the gameplay that you need to pay attention to.
Plus
also,
we got some items.
Right, there's one of your pieces of horse equipment, the
Exactly.
blinders, increase the fear threshold, so the horse can stay in combat longer. And as I mentioned, I'm sure, I don't know if it's the only thing like that in the game. There is a decoction that you can drink that will make it impossible for the horse to ever. It makes the horse fearless for all intents and purposes, and increases the damage of all of your mounted attacks.
Exactly.
So there's like mounted combat is actually like
Pretty satisfying.
Yeah, it's pretty it's very satisfying feeling, and actually quite viable if you have the right equipment for your horse and if you have the right potion.
Especially if you get a feeling for the swings you do from horseback. I really dig that when you time your swings well and then you decapitate people. It just feels good.
Well, you had that slow-mo effect going before.
Yeah.
Now, how did you trigger that?
If you push a button and hold it, then it's slow motion. But if you tap it, then you have a single hit without
Gotcha.
a slow motion.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you can. That allows you to be a little bit more precise about
think we should.
Really like our caves because they feel really, really organic. So
Maybe quaff some cat.
you can do
right?
that, or we can use a torch if you have some.
I don't have a torch.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you have some cat. I saw you had.
But we definitely have
Yeah,
cat.
So yeah, cat. Just another one of those. That's a classic Witcher potion. You know, people will know that from playing the other games, and it gives you, basically gives you night vision, makes everything kind of monochrome, black and white, easy
Exactly.
to.
But
easy
it makes it easier to distinguish.
Yeah,
As you
there
can see,
go. Beautiful.
it's quite useful in caves.
In the past, I actually don't know this for The Witcher 3, but I know that in The Witcher 2, it also made it possible for you to see threats through the walls. I don't know if it still lets you do that.
No.
No? Okay. But using the Witcher senses, though, you can kind of sense, you can hear things through the walls, and in that way you can actually kind of know when enemies are around, even if you can't see them.
So that's an empty cave.
Yeah, this seems to be unoccupied at the time being, but that might be because we came in the wrong time. But of course, like no cave is literally empty, as you will be able to find some specific stuff.
Ooh, yeah, look at all these
specific to the
diagrams.
caves, or the diagrams that were hidden here. Yeah,
Yeah, those diagrams are totally worth it. There's also some alcohol in there.
which is a very, very useful part of the game because. As we mentioned many times before, you have a lot of potions at your disposal, and how you replenish them. We have made a change to the game design part. So when you meditate, you will automatically use and consume 1 unit of alcohol in your inventory to replenish said potion.
And that's all of your potions.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's-
all of your potions that you have selected in your active slots. So not every single one
Oh,
of
it's
them.
only the ones in your... So decoctions won't...
I believe actively set potions that you have set in your quick slots. So,
Okay.
for example, if you have unlocked many potions by completing their recipes and assembling them, that would be very, very wasteful if each meditation would consume all the alcohol in your inventory to replenish them.
Of course.
So you can be you can prepare for what you want to replenish by selecting them and putting them in your active slots.
So, what would you say was the kind of the impetus behind that? Because, you know, obviously it's a big departure from the way The Witcher has been in the past, where before you crafted a potion, that was it. You have this one potion, and you use it, and then it's done. And then
Exactly.
before you can use it again, you need to be able to craft another one. Now it's like once you craft it once you complete the recipe once, it's just a matter of having any strong alcohol, which is like Dwarven Spirit, Alkahest.
All sorts of wines that you find in all sorts of places. Most
Right.
importantly, we wanted to keep the challenge part of and the rewarding feeling of being able to get all the ingredients and assemble the item, which is never very easy. But after that, it's sort of a nuisance if you have to gather all of those ingredients again and again and again.
Sure.
So maintenance has been more accessible and casual, but the actual assembly has been made a little bit harder. And I think that's a perfect balance between having to do something and being comfortable with what you have to do.
Sure, it's a quality. To me, I see it as a quality of life upgrade. You know, and it also allows, in another way, it frees you guys up design wise to challenge the player a little bit more, right? If you know that the player can make much more free use of their potions, then that means you can make encounters that much more challenging.
Exactly. So there's a certain hardness and challenge to how should I say it, like preparation for combat. Like not many video games. I don't know of like too many video games who have this atmosphere, this spirit in the game. So you have to think ahead. And we wanted all of our features to be compatible with that aspect. So there's a lot of information you can gather about monsters, enemies, and such. And there's a lot of gameplay features supporting this. And it's a fun way to kind of pre-measure your strength. And all the things you have to do in order to prepare well for an upcoming battle should be challenging, but still very accessible.
And on that note, with preparation, so the design decision was made in Witcher 2 that in order to drink a potion, you would need to sit down and meditate, pick the potions you wanted to drink, and then go through the meditation process. And this was something you could not do in combat or with enemies anywhere in your vicinity. Some people really love that decision because they felt like it was in keeping with the Witcher lore. It really is all about predicting what you're going to be up against and preparing. But other people felt that it was a frustrating change from Witcher 1 where you could quaff potions in combat. It was risky in Witcher 1 to do that, but you could do it. You guys have gone back to the you can drink potions mid-combat now. My theory on that was that when you've got this big wide open world and you can literally just be anywhere constantly. You can be going from one set of enemies to the next, to the next, to the next, and you don't know what you're gonna run into in the open world. It could be anything, anywhere. I feel like in that kind of an environment, preparing in the way you did in Witcher 2 would have been almost impossible, right? You'd be stopping every few steps.
Yeah,
to
there's
be
an
like,
entirely different pacing
Yeah,
to the open world
exactly.
exploration, and the distance and the amount of time spent between combat, which is completely up to the player. Like in Witcher 2, it was much more controlled, I would say.
Yeah, of course.
While not being a completely linear experience, it was much more controlled from the game design side, right?
Sure.
But this adventure is completely up to your decisions, your rhythm, how you want to progress, if you want to sidetrack, explore, climb, fight, whatever. So whatever you have to do, meanwhile, for maintenance, let's say that, has to be a little bit more snappy, a little bit more accessible, so
Right.
it does not hinder anything you do. It still requires certain time, certain effort, but it's very comfortable, but not comfortable to make it gamey.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you've got this. You go through the trouble of creating a game system like Alchemy, right? The worst thing is when people don't engage with it, right? Because they feel like it's either inconvenient to engage with, or where they feel like the resources are so scant to engage with it that they only want to do it when they really know they 100% need it. And then you know what happens? They just forget about it. It becomes something they don't use.
Yep.
And that's how I felt mostly. I mean, I loved The Witcher 2, but that's how I felt almost entirely through The Witcher 2, is that I just forgot that Alchemy... I almost totally forgot that Alchemy existed, except for the really, really big key fights. Here, I felt like I was constantly experimenting with different potions and using it on a regular basis, and I felt like Alchemy was a worthwhile skill tree to explore because they were that usable. It didn't make the game easy. It didn't make Alchemy less deep. It just made it something that felt more valuable to use and more usable. And hey, you did a lot of work to make the system. You might as well make it something that everyone can use on a regular basis.
The
Exactly.
preparation was kind of shifted also to the builds, because you have to prepare and you have to choose
Right.
the right build and for the right encounter. So basically, that's also okay. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. This is a village, and we have stumbled upon a situation.
Ooh,
I see a few.
Ah, exactly.
Geralt.
Bloody damn it, dumber than a hunk of lard you are. He means
We're common folk. You're the mutant, the poxy freak. Get him, lads!
Yep, we are not here to preach morals again.
So this is one of the things that I do really love about this, especially once you get later in the game and you become stronger and stronger. I generally do play games trying to be the, as much as you can, the good guy, though there's no such thing as that really in The Witcher
Yeah.
per se. But I do try to do that, but man, there's nothing more satisfying to me than when there's a bunch of bullies who think they're the biggest guys on the block, and they talk big to you like they have, like they can deign to threaten Geralt.
Oh.
Oof. He's not gonna get up from that.
This is something I really dig in our game world that we achieved with the storytelling. yeah, good storytelling over there. That choices are not super clear. You cannot play the good guy. It's almost impossible because the world is very, very deceiving, just like
Sure.
it would be in real life. So even though you think you're making a good decision, it might be a very bad decision or a completely different decision that might yield a completely different outcome that you were anticipating.
Oh,
And
totally true.
And the game is totally full with that. Like it's there in the city, it's there in the wilderness with monsters, with people monsters, as we just saw
Right.
quite recently. So this is something that I think many people will have a lot of fun with exploring the full story. There's a lot of these opportunities.
And Geralt is he's no crusader, right?
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think especially because combat feels so precise and crunchy and satisfying in this compared to the other Witcher games, there is something really empowering about putting a bunch of thugs and bullies in their place. Like more than ever, I feel that way. Like when I have a dialogue choice to make, when I make a threat, I feel like it's a threat. I feel like these people are going to be scared, and if they're not scared,
They're gonna be punished.
they're going to be punished for it. And that's that's exactly how I want to feel when I play a video game as a video game protagonist. That's how I want my protagonist to feel: is threatening, imposing, competent. And Geralt has always had that to an extent, but I feel like in this game it's doubled over by the fact that the combat feels so meaty, and that all the elements of his tool set feel so usable and so viable.
Exactly. And again, getting back to one of the concerns, one of the people said that Geralt might feel like a pre-made character, like all the choices that you can apply in the story and how your story progresses really turns him into this very, very immersive character that basically enables you to have your own adventure that you can shape at basically any time with fights and with conversation options.
Got that.
So we're using, getting back to combat a little bit. I really like this this sign. It's called Erden.
Erden, yeah, it's really strong.
It's a trap on the ground that slows down enemies who get into its area of effect, and it's super useful against small groups of enemies like that. Like particularly good against neckers, and which can be super annoying when they come in groups. So it's really good to use it against them, and wolves. And against wolves, it's really, really cool.
Yeah, and of course it's really key against specters, who are intangible otherwise.
Oh, exactly.
You have to put down Erden to in order to even be able to hit them. So really key in those fights.
Knickers surface here, dig their way out.
Oh, you've stumbled upon another nest.
Yeah,
Roots of the tree.
can take that on out.
To put line on.
Just be careful.
And you get
Cool.
some really good crafting materials when you take down a monster lair. Anyways, let's see what we got.
Yep.
Yeah, some eyes, some hearts.
That's
Yep.
good crafting material.
Yep, the necker blood.
Let's take it.
Cool. Sweet.
More
So
questions?
someone's asking me a question about my review. Actually, they asked that when this is Cillian McGinn. Thanks, Cillian, for writing in. Wants to know, when I played for review, what was the thing that surprised me the most? And I think the thing that surprised me the most is how much, the degree to which your decisions, even the small ones, affect something. In a lot of games when it's about like you make decisions and it matters in the world, it's like there's like a binary choice of like either you go left or you go right, and then it's like if you go left then all these people die, and if you go right all these people are saved, yay. Yeah. Not to say that there's anything like that in The Witcher. There are big decisions like that, but they never work out the way you think they're going to, for one. But two, more importantly, there are there's countless, and again, I don't want to spoil anything, so I don't want to give specific examples, but there's so many times where something that I thought was just a minor little side quest that was not going to have any ramification other than me just getting some XP and some crowns ended up with an innocent person losing their life, with a mother and daughter being reunited, with a town's economy returning to normal. And these are not major towns. These are just little stories in little villages in a huge world. They're literally tucked away in the corners of this massive world. And when you go out that far, you expect it to be nothing but just like, give me my money, or give me the XP, and that's kind of it. And like pretty much everywhere you go in this game has a story and has some kind of decision that you will make that can change what's happening for the people there or around there. It's really impressive, and it's kind of the thing that surprised me the most. I didn't think that even the small things would matter so much.
And this is another thing that I liked very much, that our writers, who did an excellent job, I think, assembling the story of the game, play very well with what you would presume as a familiar situation. So you, as you said, you will stumble upon a lot of things where you can make decisions that might seem familiar. Yeah, I'm going to do the good thing here, and then something totally different or surprising will happen, and you will see a lot of situations that you might recognize as cliches from other video games or even movie references, and they will have a totally different outcome that'll totally surprise you. All right.
Oh, beautiful sunset.
This is something
God.
to admire.
This happened to me the last time I was so awestruck by scenery, by just a time of day combined with weather and environment. I felt like I needed to stop for every sunset was Ocarina of Time. That was the last time I was like, I would literally stop everything I was doing and say, wow, I just have to watch this sunset. And this game did it to me constantly, and it was the first time in a very long time.
It's a really weird feeling seeing all this content finished and done, because I can say that whatever you see on the screen is handcrafted. There's bits of grass that are procedurally generated, but everything else you see, the trees, the rocks, the pebbles, the whatever, of course the villages and the detailed locations have been handcrafted by our team. And seeing how humongous the game world is, it really like it's even unbelievable for me that all this is completed in such detail.
Yeah, at the risk of sounding like a fanboy, really, guys, it's a remarkable achievement. Like, you guys should be proud.
Thank you so much.
It really is.
Feels nice, especially seeing all this completed.
Yeah, I bet. I must feel amazing.
I think this is the village called Benek. This is the first windmill I ever built. No, this is Lurch. It's a different
Another one?
place. Yeah. But it's a
yours?
different. one of mine. Yeah. It was like we started with one
Nice.
windmill. Let's give a characteristic to the place, and then people started liking the windmills, and several other windmill villages started popping up on
Especially
the map.
late in the day like this, it casts such a nice, such a striking silhouette, from a distance.
Indeed, especially with the humongous moon behind it. It is indeed nice.
So someone, I cannot pronounce your name. It's NEJC. Nick? I don't know. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tweeting at us. You want to know, does the game force you to use signs and or alchemy to get through to the end, or can you finish it only with sword fighting? And I feel like, you guys can chime in, but I did not feel like any one part of... Honestly, I made it through this game with minimal... I mean, obviously I swung my sword a bunch, but I put almost no points into anything regarding physical combat.
Mhm.
Everything I put was into
I
signs.
would say instead of forcing people, I'd say there are a lot of opportunities to use something else besides what you would expect as a proper solution. For example, we've mentioned Axie. It's a charm that you can use during conversations. For example, you can convince people to think differently than how they would have thought before you applied Axie on them.
Axie is a really powerful tool, both in combat and in conversation. It's
Of course, you get an option to pay it instead of using Axie, or maybe use it by force. Do it by force. So
Exactly,
we're not
because
forcing any ways to beat the game.
Axie might sound like a cheat, right? Because yeah, I can just change other people's minds, but it's still part of the lore, and Witchers have a certain reputation in certain circles. So if at one situation you might think like, yeah, I'm totally going to Axie myself out of this trouble, then you might catch the attention of nearby people, like, look, a Witcher, he's mind tricking that person, so let's go get him. So you might start a fight that you didn't want to start, draw some attention on you, and so on and so on, and you start a landslide of events.
And even within the context of combat, using it, like, sure, is it an effective tool once you put points into it? Yeah, but I mean, let's think about all the points you have to put into it, right? You've got the first level of Axie where it's got a chance to fail, and guys will bum rush you as soon as you start casting it. You have to put 3 points into the first Axie skill just to get it to a point where it's honestly practical to use in combat. So then you go down the next level and you get access to the to the puppet ability. But even at this point now, you spent six points
Plus 2 slots.
plus 2 slots. So that there's an opportunity cost there. Like that there's so many other things you could have done with those points. So
Exactly.
it's like, is Axie strong? Sure. If you level it up all the way, yeah, I mean, it's great. But you're going to be using up 4 of your 12 slots, and
Just for one skill.
that's just for one skill.
Exactly.
So everything.
Plus, you don't have
feels-
too many skill points in the game, so
Right.
yeah, it gives you a certain advantage in certain situations, but you're forfeiting other things. So yeah, your choices matter greatly.
Booth Gaming asks if there are any safeguards to keep you from out leveling the main story content.
That's balance.
That's balance. That's my part of job. To be honest, we decided to not scale monster levels.
which I think was a great choice.
And with such a huge world and has such a huge game, it was tremendous work to figure it out and do it somehow. There are no safeguards.
Yeah,
If you want to explore and spend 150 hours by just exploring and exping and doing exp and finding items, then you can come back to the story and probably
there's
you will have a higher level.
Yeah.
Exactly, you can do that, but of course, like the game isn't endless, so you cannot level up to infinity and just outpower everything else in the story. So you will, if you invest the effort, you will have an advantage initially.
Yes.
But as you progress and as the challenges grow more challenging, that kind of difference between you and the challenges will dissipate. And you will get back to the balance. So yeah, you can gain the upper hand in certain situations, but it will not make you feel like you're cheating the system.
For people who are asking, if you're joining us late here on IGN Plays Live with The Witcher 3, yes, this is the PC version of the game, running right now in well over 60 frames per second. On ultra settings. This is running on a GTX 980 and a Core an i7. So for those wondering, there's a little bit of seems to be a little bit of confusion about what version we're playing. Just to clear that up for everyone, we are in fact playing on the PC version right now, and it's looking damn gorgeous.
Play.
What the what? Wait a minute.
All right,
Why am I
so
getting?
this is when
Give me
Vince
a
takes
laptop.
over.
What difficulty are we on here?
Easy.
Put it-
It's medium.
Put it in a
So
hard.
we have a good gear.
Okay, cool. So so where are we? What's our goal right now? Where are we headed?
Let's beat some bandits and see how well can you do.
I've got an awesome
Okay.
cave that we can visit. We
Yeah,
can
where's
go
that?
It's north. What's left? East. No, west. Northwest.
Northwest.
Yeah, that's good from a level designer, right? South, to the right. Yeah, there's a little cave icon over there.
This
yeah,
one?
yeah.
Cool.
We can check that out. That's not too far away.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna fast travel that.
All right,
We're gonna do this the old-fashioned way.
exactly. Did you set the marker there?
No, I didn't. I should. Yeah, because my sense of direction is not excellent. So I should definitely set the marker.
Yeah,
Where's this
that's
cave up
Yeah,
here?
that one.
press X to be awesome.
Yes.
There you go. And then you can go. It's a nice cave.
Giddy up.
So yeah, actually, I want to turn the.
Oh, actually, if we could, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I need to do one thing. No. 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 I'm looking for. Maybe it's different on the PC version where it is to invert. Is it control settings?
No. Just
You were looking for the.
To invert.
Oh,
Look,
it
yeah.
was there.
Oh, it was here. Oh, okay.
No, here.
No.
But for
Oh,
the
right.
controller.
Both of them.
No, just Y-axis. Not. Are you kidding me? Get out!
Play like that.
Okay, just give me the controller. Get out of here. Okay, that should be. What are you trying to do to me?
Is it good?
All right, cool. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
All right. I wanted to ask you, like, do you have any super memorable moments that you are especially fond of from the game? Like, what you really liked? Not spoiling the story.
It's hard. You see, it's tough because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. I'll say this.
Faster.
I'm not going to give any specifics, but in the first quarter to third of the game or so, there's a character. He's a baron, and his whole storyline was very satisfying to me. That storyline handled some thematically some rough stuff that can easily turn into a one-sided conversation and a one-sided issue, and it was handled in a way that was a lot more interesting, a lot more nuanced, and I really appreciated that. That was one of my most memorable. Oh, hey guys.
Oh, you can see the horse's fear level increasing with
Yeah.
incoming damage. You're pretty far from your enemies, so. Oh yeah, and the horse I think can help you in combat. Like if the enemies come close to his hind legs, he will kick and he will deliver massive amounts of damage. Like you can actually use that to your advantage.
Oh, really? He can kick?
Yeah,
I never.
Yeah,
never
exactly.
even
He
seen
can
that.
kick.
I don't have.
Cool. Awesome. Jump back on my horse. I'm still getting used to the icons being a little bit different. I'm so used to the PS4 icons that I've been playing with. Hey, why don't we stop here and search for this treasure?
Oh, totally.
See what's
So on the minimap, you see that small white area that indicates a treasure being available in the given area. Also, you're using your Witcher senses.
Yep.
Those things in the distance, pulsating little rings, they indicate sound sources.
Sound sources,
and
right?
they can
So-
belong to all sorts of things, like critters of the wood or enemies. And you can judge that by color information.
Yeah. Taking
Like
a look around.
also,
see.
if you notice, things are highlighted when you use the Witcher senses.
Yes.
Yellow things will indicate interactive things like lootable objects, like herbs or chests or whatever.
and red
Things are clues.
will indicate that their clues are somehow something that's somehow key to a quest. I'm gonna throw Quen on before I jump into this fight here.
Oh, all right. So these are neckers. That Gwent was a good idea. No more questions?
Something I learned early that was important for me is that, generally speaking, trying to parry monster attacks is not super optimal. You can do it, but it's more often than not they kind of break your defenses.
Also, it
Well,
depends on the situation. Like, if they come at you in groups, then you should resort to crowd control, whatever that might be that you want to do.
And there are cases which parrying is very effective, counter-attacking. For example, with water Gravehag, you can cut off the Gravehag tongue, so she cannot bite you again, and she cannot slash you.
Yes.
So that's a useful tool.
So this wasn't the treasure that we were looking for. Oh, but it might be in this cave. It might be actually underneath in this
There's a
cave.
chance for that.
Yeah. Let me get some cat. Let's drink some cat to take a look at the inside here.
It's an abandoned mine.
No, it's not.
Here we go.
Is it not?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh, my God!
Just don't spoil it.
Oh my God! Oh my God! So I'm gonna guess that was our hidden treasure that I was looking for.
Could be.
Yeah, no, that was definitely it. That had to have been. That was I don't know what I just found. I know kind of what I just found, but I don't know why you don't want people to see it. But
You were supposed to just get in, kill everything, and just go out. And you just found the biggest treasure of all. No, I'm kidding.
I hope it.
Nah, it wasn't the biggest. Just
That was definitely the most Witcher gear diagrams that I've seen in one place so far in the game.
It was sweet stuff.
Oh,
But
you know
yeah,
what? I need to meditate to get this cat off of this cat effect out of here. Cause
meditate on that. You should.
Yeah, I'm gonna think about this for a little bit. We're gonna take a time out to talk it over.
Focusing on all the swag you got. So the effect of the cat potion wore off.
Cool. Now I can actually see out here a little bit more effectively.
Exactly. Not so monochromatic.
I love how foliage. I love how it reacts to the wind. It's really like that's the kind of thing that people try to do a lot, but it almost never looks right, and it actually looks really good here.
I think I remember one of the first attempts in video games was Stalker, Fall of Pripyat, which did that field effect. So comparing it to the good old days of video gaming, I can see some real nice progress in foliage, especially like the trees sway so nicely in the wind.
Oh yeah. So I think we're here, right? I think this is the cave that you. Yep, we're.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
We're we're at our destination.
And henceforth, you are free to explore as you please or wish. What happened? Did you close all the?
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna hand this back over to you for a second
Alright.
because
Let me help you with that.
a little bit of housekeeping to do. Let me take a look here.
There you go.
you can play.
No, I don't want to ruin the amazing
Jeez.
adventure. Like, I've got different skills.
I need to change those options.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how to play with invert.
Actually, now would be a good time to mention the option screen, right? Because
Yeah, some people are gonna actually. People have been asking about this. We'll get to this in 1 second, but
we actually have a question about that.
Oh yeah, we do. But
Cool.
but real quick, again, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. You're watching IGN Plays Live. We're doing The Witcher 3 today, as we're going to be doing a little bit more in the future. We got more coming up on IGN Plays Live later today and later in the week and next week. Let me run down what we got happening for you. Right after this at 3 p.m., we're going to be doing a live version of Podcast Beyond, so stay tuned with us for that. Then on Friday, we've got a couple of things planned at noon. At noon Pacific, we're going to be doing some Rock Band 4, and then at 1 o'clock, we'll be doing more of this fine game, The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt, and then on Tuesday, next Tuesday, at 10 a.m., we're going to kick off with Destiny House of Wolves. That's the new expansion coming for Destiny next week. And then we're right after that at 1 p.m., we're going to have even more Witcher 3. So thank you so much for joining us on IGN Plays Live. And if you like what you see, please keep coming back. We got a lot more coming for you. So we were about to say, yeah, some people are asking to see... They wanted to see specifically the graphical options menu. Can we show that to them real quick?
I think we can.
That'd be great. Yeah, some people are asking about it.
So we have got an incredible amount of options that you can fine-tune your experience with, graphical and gameplay-wise. Let's first show the graphical settings. As you can see, we were true to our words, and we are indeed playing on Ultra.
Awesome.
Like every setting on. And yeah, we wanted to... I'll let you browse through them.
Just took it through.
Exactly, just a quick through.
Cool. It's an SSAO
through.
slider.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah, there's a lot of stuff here.
And
Oh yeah, this is something where it gets interesting. Like you can actually customize your gameplay experience by customizing elements of the graphical user interface. If you
let's turn it off all.
look at the options, you can completely switch off everything and focus on the adventure, like health bars, minimap, skills, active effects on you. You can turn everything off, and then you will end up with something like this, where you can just focus on exploration, looking around, and you will get like prompts maybe about quest updates, and of course if you enter the menu you will see all your stuff. But this is pure gameplay, lore, and adventure.
And now I'm lost in the cave.
if that is your thing. Yeah, like if you're in a maze like that or a dungeon, it's actually advised to keep the minimap on.
And something else that's nice about the interface is that when you decide, hey, this is the quest I'm going to track, it doesn't just lock you into it doesn't just say, here, you go in that general direction. You can turn on a pathing tool that will kind of say, hey, take this road, now go here. Now it's kind of like a Witcher GPS. But that's, if that's too handholdy for you, you can turn just that on and off. So it's not just that you can turn everything off, it's the minutia with which you can customize the experience.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Also, some of the elements, GUI elements, are tied to difficulty, if I remember correctly, right? Is that still so?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So I don't want to mislead people. Like there were design experiments and decisions playing around with that, but that's something we need to find out more about.
Interesting, but it makes some sense, right? Like, so something that you guys do with the difficulty level is on the higher difficulty levels you can meditate, but you don't get health back. And
Exactly.
that's that you have to play a little more like a Witcher, and you have to lean on your potions, and you have to lean on your supplies and stuff. Would be interesting if certain other things were off by nature, and that you had to, again, like a Witcher, be, I don't know, more aware of your surroundings. Maybe do some kind of tracking of your own, being able to kind of pick out what certain things mean. That could have been an interesting experiment, but I think it worked out. For the best way.
I remember there were a lot of decisions taken into consideration, but what we ended up with, I think it's a nice amalgamation of the best choices. Oh yeah, this is also cool. Side
quite
quest.
long. Should we just?
Oh, we can just take a look around. You know what I wanted to show on the.
Yeah, we've got about 20 minutes left, so if there's anything in particular that you
very limited
really needed to get to.
The Western Shores.
We got barely any, but when you really look at where we started and how much more south there is we could go, we went barely anywhere.
Yeah.
We got halfway south. And we weren't even starting from the northernmost point on this one map.
Exactly. Like we've been to Novigrad and we haven't even touched the Gust Fields, the northeastern
Skellige
bits. No. Not just yet. Not just yet. Skellige is for today at least off limits. But
Yes.
You might be surprised where we go in a couple of days.
That's right. On Friday, you have to come back on Friday to see more.
Exactly. On Friday we will do Skellige. But first, before we do that, the last 20 minutes should be spent. I want to show the western shores. Maybe a little bit to the south. Even more like Coast of Rex. Yeah, exactly. I want to check out the Coast of Rex.
Should we fast travel there?
Yeah. Let's go there because or you can just go there.
I don't know where.
Nicely fill out the 20 minutes. Go
Where should I
west.
turn?
Go west. Go west.
Which way is west?
Jesus Fukash.
Where's
You're the
compass?
worst Witcher ever. How do you
Tries to
not
be the
know?
best.
Just
when-
look at check the mossy sides of the trees.
Okay, let's turn on. Let's turn some UI options on.
Noob.
Don't you know your game area by every tree? By right now.
There's no way you could know all
Look at
this.
that.
Like it's, oh my god. I don't know if how accurate the numbers are, but it's like I've read something like the two main maps, this map and Skellige together, are like 1.5 times the size of GTA 5. I'm like, that's preposterous.
I don't know the exact numbers. I only know the old official comparison. Like you might remember how big Witcher 2 was, and the original comparison said something like the Witcher Wild Hunt is like 35 times bigger
Yeah.
than the entire game area of with The Witcher 2. But I think we've remeasured since then, and the numbers were even greater than that. I'm afraid to quote, but it's I think twice as much as we originally
Oh wow.
measured. So yeah, it's pretty huge. But really, I don't want to say numbers. Like just
Right. It's freaking huge.
watch
So
how much we explored, and yeah. In the the given amount of time, we've spent like an hour and a half, good hour and a half, with exploring, and yeah, we have covered a very minuscule part of the game world, and yeah, I think the kind of gameplay we had right now confirms that it's rich. You will have a bunch of events, quite a lot.
I want to talk a little more about difficulty, if that's okay.
Sure.
So, you know, some games, when you're upping the difficulty, they mostly focus on it just being like enemies deal more damage, you deal less damage. Some games take a bit of a different approach where they just make enemies smarter, or they make more there be more enemies. How does difficulty actually scale up in The Witcher 3, and what can people expect out of the highest difficulty levels?
That's something Wilkush might want to talk about.
Well, enemies eat harder, of course. That's one of the things that the monsters are more prepared for Geralt. I think it's more focused on being prepared gear-wise, to craft a better gear, to have a better gear, to be prepared with potions and bombs. This is a very important aspect of higher difficulty levels. Plus, the approach to combat is totally different. If you play on normal, just pick your playstyle, your science or combat, or alchemy maybe, and you have some. Maybe you might have some problems, but it's more about having fun and enjoying the story and using whichever skills you want to. If you're good at them, you can. But on the harder difficulties, you have to think how to approach combat. You have to pick different skills, maybe more defensive to survive the battle. Plus, focusing on gear is most important.
So would you say that on higher difficulty levels, do the enemies actually deal more damage?
They do.
They do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are they any more aggressive? Do they get new attacks?
Well, attacks. No, they don't.
Same attacks,
Yeah.
but but will they be more aggressive or any more intelligent?
Yes, more aggressive for sure.
And what about quantity? Would you say there's more to fight on the higher levels? Are resources any more scarce? I'm wondering if you guys do any balancing that way.
You are much more dependent on your resources, so the way you use them and consume them, yes, they will become more scarce. For example, as we mentioned, on higher difficulty levels, health does not get replenished during meditation, and that might seem like not a big deal, but it might screw over your adventures if you don't pay attention. So you really have to use the mindset of the character you're playing. Think ahead, plan ahead, have different things in mind based on what you learned. So this kind of difficulty change is not just parameters, but brings you into the game to think ahead and be aware of your raw ingredients, all the ingredients that basically complete your adventure.
Awesome. Again, guys, reminder. We got 15 minutes left. Right after this, we're going to be going right over to.
Nice.
That was beautiful. We're going to be going right. That looked so good. We're going to be going right over to a live version of Podcast Beyond at 3 o'clock. So make sure to stick around with us for that here on IGN Plays Live. Yeah, that was a hell of a swing. It's a hell of a swing.
Pretty nice. So yeah, in the last 15 minutes that we have, really don't want to spoil anything. Just want to give a quick last feeling on what the game world has to offer. Go to the eastern end, just rush on horseback and show you how different the area around that part is. Like
the western end, yes.
Western.
Right.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's because of the jet lag. I blame it on the jet lag. All right.
Oh wow.
Here we are. This is Shipwreck Shore, the coast of Rex. Because the story of this area is that people, of course, want to escape the war one way or another. So there's famine, there's death, there's the plague, of course. So people grow desperate, and these people that were pushed to the western side of the map basically wanted to get away using boats. But these waves, these waters are very, very treacherous. So that's why you see a whole lot of shipwrecks gathered around here, because the sudden changes of the weather kind of make it impossible to escape through here. But still, people try. And you will see all sorts of shipwrecks. And if you go a little bit further down to the south, you will see people trying to build some really dingy vessels made of the driftwood that they scavenge of these areas. And this area is characterized by a lot of desperation. Like,
Which word?
actually, I wanted to move a little more inland to the refugees camp, if we can. Show you something really cool. I think it's over there. So again, this region is characterized more with a lot of desperation. There's going to be a lot of desperate folks trying to get by, make a living, and some will resort to an even stranger way of survival. But we'll see more of that. Maybe we can fit that into the last 15 minutes.
I believe in Wookish. I believe.
All right, maybe we'll stumble upon some fights on the way. I don't know.
We can.
Oh yeah, these meadows are. Oh yeah, that's it. That's the thing I was looking for. So some people have completely accepted the end of days as it's coming, and that statue, a herald of the end of days, has been completely made out of ship parts, and these people basically are the heralds of the final days, that they have seen bad things happening and there's absolutely no hope for humanity. So they're accepting the downfall of humanity and worship some darker gods that they have either invented or have existed in the local lore.
That's super cool. Yeah, there's little things like this to discover everywhere. Like even when there's not, like I said, even when there's not a cutscene or a dialogue, like the world, the environment tells a story.
There's a lot of passive storytelling like that. We invested a lot of effort into this to give a lot of richness to the world. And they might not even tie into the main quest. They just give you a sense of the atmosphere. That these are different times, so these are not the casual medieval fetch some water from the woods people, but there's some real mature adventuring going on.
It's okay, like I did need that. This is a scary situation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're barely alive.
Oh my god.
All right, but so are they.
That's gonna impair his ability to fight. That lack of an arm. Oh my god, you're a monster! What is wrong with you? What do these people do to you?
Well, as we like to say again and again, we are not here to preach morals.
We made it.
We did it! Woo! Yeah!
Nice stuff.
Good stuff, man. Really super good stuff. So I'm curious to see now what happens What happens to these people?
We seem to have liberated this camp.
Yeah.
They got a new leader.
Yeah, they do. Now I almost wonder what. But of course, you get rid of one bad boss. You sometimes you let in another bad boss. I don't know. I don't know anything about this quest, but in the back of my head, I'm always.
Maybe let's not spoil it for the people.
I don't know anything about it. I'm literally guessing. I don't want you guys to spoil anything. But that's the really cool thing that I noticed again and again when you make these decisions. Like, no good deed goes unpunished.
Exactly.
In The Witcher, everything good that you do, that you think, you're a savior and you've fixed everything for people. Sometimes it's not the case.
Yeah.
And
well said.
Super. It's a rich world that's it's not rewarding in the typical sense of I feel like I'm a good person who's made the world a better place. It's rewarding because it's a place, and for better or for worse, you leave a footprint on it, and regardless of what you try to do.
And because of the non-predictability of your actions, there's always a weight to whatever you do, whatever you kill, whatever you fight, whatever you choose to say. And that makes like every living minute of the world very, very different than what you are used to. Oh yeah, the sign was warning us about pirates, and there will be some folks trying to get other people's goods.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
we've got like 7 or 8 minutes left. I mean, feel free to run around and.
Do we have any more questions from the guys?
Yeah, let me see if we got any more interesting questions. Yeah, so Raggy writes in on Twitter and asks if there are unique armor or weapons that only drop that you can only craft or find or get on the higher difficulty settings. Are there any
Nope.
difficulty specific?
Item availability like that is not dependent on difficulty settings, but of course they are harder to get on higher difficulty settings. So that might make them feel unique. So no, everything in the game I think it's always available to find or craft. But of course, if you switch to a higher difficulty level, that will greatly affect your chances.
Someone wants to know if the PS4 version looks as good as this, and come on, man, like you need to ask that question. Of course it doesn't. Like like the PS4 version looks terrific. It's beautiful, but I mean, you know the drill. A high-end PC on a PC game like this, running at max settings, there's no comparison. I mean, the PS4 version looks excellent. It's a beautiful jaw-dropping game, but it's that much more jaw-dropping on PC. So am I going to say on PS4 there's effects and things that have been seriously dumbed down? No, I would say the parity is actually pretty impressive in terms of the actual the texture assets, and the effects. There's nothing that immediately on the PS4 I go, okay, that was just dumbed down or not possible, on the PS4. Nothing like that. But I mean, yeah, it looks definitely degrees better on the PC and runs, obviously quite a bit nicer. But that's just the nature of that's not downing the PS4 version. I gave the PS4 version a 9.3. But the reality is that a PC version, a beefed up PC, will always look better than a console.
Let me tell you this: if you're interested in the differences between the different releases and versions, like we had an event, we had a press event in Sydney, Australia, where all 3 systems were on display and people could play with whatever system they chose to play with, and we let them play, we let them casually switch between systems, and after like 5 or 10 minutes, you don't care. You really don't care. There were the systems like right next to each other. You could easily make a comparison, and you don't want to. It's so many other things to worry about. So many other things to not worry about. That's not to immerse yourself into to play the adventure and everything. That you don't care about the visual differences. They are so minuscule compared to the experience that is provided basically by the visual achievement the game has to offer on all 3 platforms.
On every platform, the game is a blast, and on every platform it is an achievement. Get it on whatever system you have. If you have a super high-end PC gaming rig that will run it, and you like, and that's the way you like to play it, awesome. If you want to play it on your PS4, awesome. You want to play it on your Xbox One, awesome.
It's gonna look good.
It's gonna look good. Yeah, exactly. It's gonna look good, and it's gonna be a great experience. So yeah, I wouldn't sweat it too much. Let's see what else we've got. We've got about 6 minutes left here. Ty wants to know. Hi, Ty. Wants to know if there's going to be photo mode integration for the PS4, and will you be able to preload if you purchase the game digitally? Will you be able to preload on the PS4 or no?
I don't know for sure. This is something we should ask our PR guys.
Maybe we can answer that next time.
Exactly.
On the next
We'll try
episode
to
on
get
Friday.
more information on that.
Cool. Let's see.
You're switching back to GUI element?
Yeah, photo mode.
Yes. All right.
There you go.
So here's
Photo mode confirmed.
Yeah, this is there you go. There's photo mode.
You don't need any special setting for it.
So this is a good question that I think I'd love to hear your guys' take on it. Logan Samuels wants to know if he's never played any other. He hasn't seen much of the other Witcher games really. Wants to know if he can hop into this one without playing the others.
Super important question. The game has been designed and built from the ground up to be a standalone experience. Like you can play, and you are of course advised to play the previous titles because they're cool. But this game, if you want to experience the full experience as it is, you don't have to play any of the prequels. This is a standalone game that will give you a wholesome adventure without having to play any of the prequels. Of course, you will have an awesome experience, and you will see some nice little references to the prequels and the story elements, and that they are excellent games. So you are better off playing them, but you absolutely don't have to.
Piggybacking on that, I'm curious what your guys' take is on how important it is to have familiarity with the novels, given the characters that the story revolves around.
Faster.
It's really cool to read the novels because they're excellent novels, and you will see a lot of references to that will make you nod, but it's absolutely not a necessity. So, this is a video game, not an exam. We wanted to give you an
Sure.
an experience that can fill your gaming nights alone. So yeah, it's really the novels are really, really good. I really like them. I got distracted by the game.
It's okay.
But you absolutely don't have to read them. But it's recommended, highly recommended. I mean, the whole game has been based on them, so their story is fantastic.
This is kind of a PC-centric question, but a really important one, I feel. When will the modding utility be released? When will modding be...
That is something we cannot currently talk about. That will be decided and made public later.
Gotcha, but you do plan on supporting mods for The Witcher 3?
That also will need to be commanded later officially.
Gotcha. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I just know that's something that people care about.
Come on.
What some people are asking, what's going to be on the day one patch? What can they expect from that?
It's going to fix some minor bugs, mostly like visual convenience stuff and things like that. Some optimization, I believe.
Is that optimization going to be on the console versions as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Gotcha. So because people have been asking me this, and it's been tough to exactly answer. People are curious about if the frame rate is on the console versions will be any more stable on the final release compared to the one that I played for review.
There's going to be some improvements, I believe. I don't know the exact values.
Sure, no one's trying to lock you into like a number or anything. I know it's impossible to say, but the goal at least is to optimize it a little further for day one.
It's going to be very nice with the patch, yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Kill more people!
Yeah, so the guys we just killed are cannibals. They're the other kind of desperate people that live in this region. They just basically chose to just feed upon the weak and the non-willing.
And of course, that means that they have to get a sword in the face.
Exactly.
That's how things work in video games. So we are Peter, Łukasz. It's been such a pleasure. We've got to say goodbye for now, but not for forever.
Exactly.
You can see more Witcher 3 this Friday on IGN Plays Live. But thank you so much for joining us, guys. And now it's time for us to head on over to Beyond. Before we do, just a little reminder about the other things we got going on. We are going to, right now after this, we're going to Beyond, but then we're going to be on Friday doing Rock Band 4 at 12 p.m., and then we'll be doing more Witcher 3 at 1, and that's on Friday. Tuesday we'll be doing at 10 a.m. Destiny House of Wolves for a few hours, and then moving on to more Witcher 3, and again that's on at 1 o'clock, and again that's on Tuesday. But thank you so much for joining us here on IGN Plays Live. Now let's head on over and check out Podcast Beyond.
Oh my lord, here we are.
We did it!
Beyond!
Beyond!
Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Max Scoville.
Yeah.
Joining me, Marty Sleva.
Hey.
Brian Altano.
Brah!
There are no Witchers in this room, and I'm so sorry. I know
Yeah.
a lot of you guys just jumped right over here from the Witcher live stream that you were watching. That's a tough act to follow, because that game looks awesome.
Yeah.
That's right.
We're not 120 hours long.
No, we are 1 hour long. We're not going to kill any horses during the stream. We are not going to marry any women. We're not going to save any worlds. But we are going to talk about PlayStation.
Yeah, we sure are. Yeah, this is the PlayStation podcast that we do every week. Not just live. This is the first time we've done it live here together. And we're going to be talking about E3 predictions and memories and hopes and dreams and all those sorts of things.
Yeah, and our favorite.
It's really, I honestly really just want to talk about The Witcher right now.
That's what we can't do.
We can't talk about that. If you guys are watching us live at this very moment, you can jump on Twitter and use the hashtag Beyond.
That's hashtag
Obviously.
Beyond.
Just Beyond. Just the little thing that looks like a cool, like, number one.
Yeah, it's like a tic-tac-toe.
If Beyond was a number, that would be the thing before it. And then we can jump on there and track your questions and topics and stuff you want to talk about. So
Tell us
E3
what your
stuff,
favorite
so we're talking
E3s
about.
were, your E3 predictions.
Let's this is exciting. We are this is the 20th anniversary of E3.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe. It's been 20
Almost
years.
old enough to drink. That's next year. It's going to get...
Well, you can drink, like, if E2 doesn't find out about
I hear
it.
that next year they're holding E3 in a bar.
Yeah.
Because it's finally old enough.
That would be great.
That'd be a huge bar.
Yeah,
It's
20
massive.
20 years of E3,
Yeah.
and then it is always magical in some way.
Yeah.
Like it's, there's a lot of people that complain about E3 because it's a lot to take in. We were talking about this at lunch. I love E3. It's really, really a magical. It is our industry's Christmas. There's this sort of palpable energy in the air everywhere you go. Everyone is excited to show stuff. Developers are excited because they're finally revealing something they've been working on for a long time. The audience is excited because they can kind of see where their money is going to go over the next year and a half and their time. And we're excited because we get to cover it. We get to talk about it. And we get to tell people what we saw and what we loved. So
No, I think that E3 is for pretty much anybody. For the most part, anybody who's born in the last 30 years, E3 is the closest thing to a chocolate factory you can visit.
Yeah.
It actually still has that magic.
I
It's
mean,
got
there
that.
are probably actual chocolate factories as well.
Sure, no, you can visit chocolate factories, but they're like really depressing.
They're sad.
And
They're like
I mean,
factories.
there are things that are weird and gross and sometimes boring about E3.
Yep.
But it's also really cool because it's a bunch of brand new video games that you don't get to see.
It's just so weird how we consume it now compared to how we consumed it or didn't consume it back in 1995.
Yeah,
That was a long time ago. That was pre-internet.
E3 1995. It was Saturn and PlayStation were both launched there. That exact year, it was kind of here we go. Let's get this started. This is this is games. This is happening.
The Saturn one was weird because they announced first. They announced their specs. They said it is $399 and it is available now.
Yep.
Which was one of the things that led to the Saturn's demise.
Yeah.
Because that's not. It's not
It
great.
was available now at places that had it then.
yeah.
Which unfortunately, some of the people who weren't informed about that were retailers who were not carrying it and were then kind of hesitant to carry it when the holidays rolled around.
Yeah,
because
they felt
they kind
burned.
of felt snubbed.
Yeah.
And also developers who hadn't really finished games because they didn't realize that it was going to be launching in the middle of the summer.
yeah, there's been this long running sort of E3 tradition to say, and you can play it right now. But kind of historically, not a lot of the best things have come from that.
Yeah, I mean, last year we had the Dead Rising weird DLC
We had-
thing.
we had
That was like a good happy medium.
That was
right
like
there.
that was a thing that it's not a $400 console. So it's like here's some $10.
Well, we had Entwined, which was basically like, hey, y'all like Journey? Yeah, we do. Well, this is nothing like that. That game didn't really work. I was kind of bummed about that, but I remember like coming back after E3 and downloading some of these games and being like, "Oh, this is an awesome new artsy PlayStation game and it uses motion controls, so maybe it'll work."
Yeah.
And it didn't. I didn't like it. So yeah, to do that with a console,
That felt
kind of a tough move, you know.
Yeah, it's a stunt release. Like,
Yeah.
that's not really a good way to actually do that. And something happened at that one fateful
Yeah,
first
like
E3.
literally hours later,
Yeah.
the SEA president at the time, Steve Race, went on stage. He started talking about the PlayStation and said it's going to be available this fall for $299.
I wish there was a launch title called Steve Race, where it's just a bunch of guys
Steve
named
Racer.
Steve. Yeah.
But so this was the first time Sony did that, where they announced sort of console details on the same day as a competitor and then undercut them by $100. And we'll talk about the other time they did that later on in the show.
Yeah. Also, I love that if you go back and watch footage of that first E3, it's like shot on someone's camcorder because there was no way to broadcast it.
Yeah.
No one on TV is going to be showing that, and
Right.
maybe C-SPAN 4 or something.
Yeah, and we were like the way we viewed the E3 was through like EGM.
Yeah,
like,
which came out a month and a half later.
Yeah,
and you went to the grocery store
You
to
had,
buy
like,
it.
stamp
and now it's
size screenshots.
Which
but
when
it's
I-
really weird because watching that first that press conference, so called, having where he comes up and he's like, "Oh, you had one last words," and he's just like, $299.
Yeah.
It's like I was watching that. I was more weirded out by the fact that the place that they're doing it looked like, I think it was in like a hotel or something.
Yeah.
It looked like where they do the awards ceremony in Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, we're at the Holiday Inn for the first annual AVN Awards.
Yeah, and I mean also the big games there. Those weren't the games that people were going to run out and buy. Like they were amazing looking, but Battle Arena, Toshinden, and Ridge Racer, like those aren't the games when we think of PS1 really defining for us. But I guess that's a lot of launch lineups. Like aside from Mario 64, there's not a whole lot of launch games that define a console.
Yeah, consoles usually launch with like 10 mediocre to bad games or one or two really good ones and kind of nothing else. So
totally.
I think that the PlayStation, and I mean we're a little bit biased here, but I think the PlayStation definitely kind of defined what modern gaming has become. Like they were the first ones to use optical media, but at the same time they were off to kind of a rolling start because people like Sony hadn't made a game system before, and game systems were still kind of this weird toy thing.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, we usually make really high-end like audio equipment.
Yep.
We're taking some of that and we're throwing a game where you can be like wizards with swords who fight each other on there and fall out of a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
I think to add to that, I think PlayStation's actually sort of defined what the modern press conference looks like.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have really managed to turn that into the spectacle it is now, with like 5 gigantic screens, and then there's guests that come on, and there's pumping loud music. Now it's kind of a business model that everybody's been using, but you look at what Nintendo's doing now, they're sort of recoiling into these directs, and Microsoft is kind of there, but as we'll go through this, you'll see that there are some very spectacular highs and lows in the Sony press conferences, and I think that's why it's kind of where they are now, and it's very important that the pressure is on every year to make these things even bigger and bigger.
Yeah, now that there are 7 conferences.
Yes, 9.
Yeah.
What I kind of want to get at though is that I think that it was 96 when the N64 came out, right? And I think that was the thing that like people knew what a Nintendo was.
Yeah.
And people could look at a computer game and be like, what if it's in 3D now? That's wacky. Like people knew Mario at that time.
Yeah.
But it's weird to think that at that point, you know, Mario and the kind of the public's understanding of him, like a Nintendo was only 10 years old.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. Like, I mean, I'm looking at this right now. We're looking at kind of the leap between 95, which was the first E3, and that was when the PlayStation was announced, and then 2000, which was when the PlayStation 2 was like about to come out.
Yeah.
That's like a 5-year difference. It seemed like a lifetime because that was half my lifetime at that point. When in 1995, I was 8 years old.
Yeah,
so like that's a huge formative chunk of your life.
And in that 5 years, E3 sort of started to take the shape of the E3 we know now, where it had the spectacle. It didn't feel like an uptight, you know, like a hotel convention. This felt like an event.
Yeah.
And that in 2000 with the PS2 and especially the Metal Gear Solid 2 tanker demo.
Right.
That was sort of one of those. I think that tanker demo might be the first thing that really stuck in my mind from an E3 of like, holy crap. Like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
I had an issue of PSM, the unofficial PlayStation magazine, which had a cover by Joe Madeira.
Yep, I remember
of Solid Snake, looking extremely American, and a very busty Olga. And it had screenshots of the tanker demo, and it broke down everything that happened there. They're like, is Vulcan Raven going to show up?
Yeah.
Spoilers for a
He was
15-year-old game. He doesn't.
He was a toy. He was a toy.
Yeah. But I remember I had that magazine, that single issue, and I brought it to summer camp with me, and I poured through it backwards and forwards. And I don't think to this day I don't think I've ever been as excited about a game as I was for Metal Gear Solid 2.
Right.
Yeah. And that demo was like a sort of generational defining visual leap, like seeing Snake walk across the George Washington Bridge in his rain slicker.
I want to point out the ice bucket. The ice bucket in the tanker demo is like still one of my favorite things in video games ever, because somebody with Kojima's team was like, "This'll wow them." It's an ice bucket, like you get at your hotel. It's filled full of ice cubes. If you shoot it with your gun, it'll flip over and the ice cubes will fall out. And they will melt. In real time. I mean, maybe not a little bit faster than real ice cubes, but then you can shoot them individually and they'll bust. And it's just like that's like.
Yep.
That was one of those like wow.
And this is when like we've seen over the years that E3 has either been a sort of like a celebration of a console, right? Saying this is basically how much it's sold and how many systems are out there. Here's our market demographic, pie charts and graphs and stuff like that, and numbers. But it's also been like awesome coming out parties for games, and seeing a vertical slice live on stage at a press conference is a make it or break it moment for a lot of games. And we've seen them break, and it's embarrassing and it's awful, but we've seen them soar, and that's the stuff that gets people to run to a store and be like, that's what sold me on that game, is that press conference, that demo. And that was Metal Gear's moment.
Yeah, and also, I mean, that thing ended up not being a vertical slice because that was the opening act of that game.
Yeah, and then they're like, go out and buy Zone of the Enders next year, and you can play this cool new robot game that, oh, by the way, comes with a thing where you can realistically shoot an ice bucket. There's also watermelons you can blow up.
I'm curious if that left as much of an impact on the audience as it did on us. Tweet at us using the hashtag Beyond. And tell us if that demo was as amazing.
Yeah, do we have any responses there?
Yeah, people are asking us a lot of questions. At Solid Duff says, do you think Yooka-Laylee has a chance of making it to E3? I don't know.
We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a Kickstarter game, so I think that pulling that towards any sort of semblance of like platform exclusivity might be a little early for that. You'd anger a lot of people that paid for it.
Sure. Especially, I don't see it happening with Microsoft because it's almost like you're not gonna like be hanging out with your ex too much.
Yeah.
It also, I mean, it hasn't really. I don't think it's really a game you can show off yet.
Yeah, totally.
It's also not something that's going to wow people. Like, we got to remember that E3 is in fact also a trade show, and it's about like new, big, exciting things. And Yooka-Laylee is very much
it's about getting Walmart excited. USA Today, the Today Show. Yeah,
you're showing them an ice bucket. You're not showing them a thing from 10 years ago that's been faithfully kind of remastered in modern
really
sensibilities.
love this ice bucket.
Yeah, I love the ice bucket. I think it's great. It's an exciting thing.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I think that also we forget that to be at E3, it costs game publishers stupid, disgusting, terrible amounts of money.
Yeah.
To have a booth, to have any space on the floor, it's millions.
Yeah.
It's like it's really gross. And to be showing up at a press conference, there's going to be some weird, politics going on.
Yeah, totally.
There isn't really like a Kickstarter corner of E3, right? Like those guys, the art school kids don't all sit together.
The K would be like backwards.
So use the hashtag. That's hashtag Beyond. We are doing this live. If you're watching the show right now, thank you so much. You're probably just as excited for E3 as we are.
Give me a shout out.
Matt Hawthorne says, "Is it weird that I'm watching this on my Xbox One?" No. Absolutely not. That's awesome.
We have a lovely Xbox One app, a lovely PS4 app.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Send
us your questions. Send us your E3 predictions. We'll read them on the air. Junho says, "What were your favorite E3s?" We're actually going to get into that.
We are going to get into that. I think Max. Your favorite that moment was the Metal Gear Solid 2 moment for you.
Yeah, I mean the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo was like that. Was like that. The excitement I had. It was also, I think it was the summer of, was it the 2000 E3? It would have been, I think, the following year. It was like summer of 2001.
Yeah.
But I was just incredibly really excited for that game. It was also it just happened at really like a very special point in my life.
Yeah, totally.
I was like getting into girls,
like
drawing lots
Olga,
of Dragon Ball Z fan art. Like those things aren't connected, but I don't know. It was just like it's tied to a really kind of significant time in my life.
Yeah, and that E3 also it walked a fine line. It showed us the future with Metal Gear Solid 2, but it also had games like Chrono Cross and Final Fantasy 9 that was like, hey, everyone who still has a PS1, we still have a handful of amazing games that you're gonna like.
Yep, wonderful, great E3, just fantastic.
So that was a good one.
let's get on to the bad.
Let's get on to the bad.
Let's get on to what, and this is, you're going to get upset about this, but I think a lot of people, me especially, consider this to be one of the worst E3 press conferences ever. And not because the games were bad, because I think there were a lot of really good games that were shown at this. This is 2006.
Yeah.
This is when the PS3 pricing was first revealed. To paint the picture, we are dealing with a astronomically cocky Sony, who is fresh off of the PS2, which is the best-selling system of all time. Absolutely trouncing the competition. I think it sold something like 100 million units more than the GameCube and the Xbox, which hovered at around 22 million units. PS2 just quadrupled, quintupled, sextupled, whatever that is. Sextupled. All the way into the stratosphere. And they basically, you're dealing with, you have Kaz Hirai, who's this kind of, seems like a nice guy, and you have Ken Kutaragi, who's like very cocky old Japanese business guy. Now, Ken Kutaragi starts saying things like, we could sell the PS3 without any games and we'd still sell 1 million units, and things like, you're going to need a second job to afford this thing. And we're like, what's going on?
That's not a good thing.
Yeah, these are real quotes.
Yeah.
So they came out in 2006, and this is when we heard the first time that PS3 was priced. Now, I'll get into the good news first. They talked about some of the games that we'd be playing in and around launch. We have Uncharted, Killzone Liberation.
So we were showing some PSP stuffs.
Heavenly Sword, Resistance, Fall of Man. Like there were some good games there. Final Fantasy 13
came out.
Yeah, 8 Days, which still
that's not a thing. Also, so Final Fantasy 13 and Versus 13, which we got to play that demo a couple months ago. That was the first time we got to play that game.
Wow. So the big thing about E3 press conferences is that the crowd reactions are palpable. You actually hear them through your tiny little computer speakers. You're watching them on your phone. If you're in the room, there's a magic in the air when something good happens. And when they came out and they said that the PS3 would cost $599 US, there was a deafening gasp in the room. It was just, why?
Yeah.
And we all got scared because I think we thought that this would be the trend, that video games were now becoming this almost like deluxe high-end consumer thing, where they kind of landed now is that video game consoles have been around, $300, $400 for the last.
I thought you were going to say they've been around 300, 400 years.
400,000 years.
That's not correct.
That's right. 400-year-old video game.
It's funny. It's funny you started talking about history of things. There was also the wonderful demo for Genji, which had, they were like, this draws from real, actual Japanese history.
Here's this giant enemy crab.
A giant enemy crab. I like that they also they were like, they're not just like, we're fighting a giant crab. They're like, this is a giant enemy crab.
And you can flip him over and hit his weak point for massive damage.
Yeah.
It was cringeworthy. And then you had that, and you had Kaz Hirai, who came out and said, Ridge Racer. It's Ridge Racer. And everyone in the room was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, why is this happening?
You don't have to do that. So so to me,
launch title.
Yeah. I am fascinated by this because this is sort of watching a company at the top make a really big blunder and turn the tide. And from there, we saw the Xbox 360 actually went to sell way more than the PS3 for a very long time, and things kind of evened out here and there a few years later.
Yeah, it goes to show you how much a good or bad press conference can sort of dictate the tone of an entire generation.
Yeah.
Which sort of, we have a role reversal later on. But before we get there, there was 2012, which was this weird sort of middle period. We weren't ready to talk about PS4 yet, but we still have a couple cool PS3 games, but we also have some really boring stuff that we're going to kill the momentum with. So I mean, the highlight there was The Last of Us. We had the incredible Last of Us demo.
You nailed it, because we were in that weird era where we knew there was a PS4. It was called the Orbis. We didn't know what it was. No one could publicly admit or confirm in any capacity that they were working on this thing.
That's when we saw Watch Dogs, and it was like the first. It's like when we know this isn't coming to current gen. I mean, it did.
It did.
But no, it's like totally. That's totally true. I also think that there was this kind of this exhaustion of like we wanted a new toy, like we wanted to see something new and exciting, and they were kind of getting the most mileage out of it. I mean, before we get out of PS3 territory, I think it's worth pointing out that structurally how the PS3 worked was different from. Like, I mean, there isn't a consistent pattern in how consoles function. Yeah. They're not really like a computer where it's kind of like evolved rationally. They've always kind of done weird experimental things, but The Xbox 360 was kind of loosely based on a PC, which is a thing that they used to make games. The PS3 trotted out the cell processor, which was like, what if you like? So the way it was explained to me by a friend who works at a game company who shall remain nameless, because I'm sure he loves his job.
Fumito Ueda.
Yes, it was the president of Nintendo himself. He said that to me. No, but he's saying that like the Xbox 360 was like having a classroom full of B+ students, you know, and they all do their homework assignments on time, and they know what they're supposed to do, and it might not be, you know, the most brilliant thing in the world. Whereas the PlayStation 3 is like having a small think tank of like brilliant but autistic savants who have to be worked with one-on-one to be like, here's your deal. Like, here's what you're working on. Here's your formula. And it had to be basically, the tasks all had to be divvied up separately. Whereas you could just throw a problem. You could throw one homework assignment at this B+ class and be like, dude, make the game look cool. And they're like, okay. And it might be like a little bit less exciting. And that's why, you know, PlayStation 3 exclusives like The Last of Us are incredible because they're specialized. And that's always been...
They were built from the ground up for the system specifically.
And if you want to get actually really kind of deep into it, that's proprietary hardware and software is actually kind of ingrained into Sony's business model from the very first what's it called, the radios they would make, the
Walkman.
No, way before that. I'm talking 60s, like little radios, transistor radios. They were actually the first company to get Texas Instrument transistors. That they bought the patent for them, but they designed their own basically.
Yeah, that was at E3 1895.
No, I mean, but it's one of those things where it's like it worked for them. You know, they were like, there you go.
And then they made the PS4, which obviously was way easier to develop for, as we've seen by the tremendous library of games. And I think there's more parity between that and the Xbox One, despite the resolution gate and all the other stuff.
The PS4 was humility. Like out the gate, it was just we they didn't say it. They didn't say we screwed up last time, but they're like. We're listening.
But 2012 was a really awesome. It's like you get the early years at E3s when a company's first showing off its console, and then you get the winter years where it's coming to an end, and you get weird kind of swan song games that happen. And in 2012, there was still some life left in the PS3, and the stuff we saw there was just awesome. Like it was really just like, we're celebrating this console, we're firing on all cylinders. There was even stuff like Assassin's Creed Liberation for Vita, which was just like, hey, this thing's still we're gonna put a shot in the arm here. It's getting an exclusive Assassin's Creed game. It's one of the biggest franchises in the world. And then we got Wonderbook, which was...
I remember everyone just being like so angry because it was like this thing, and this was also right after Sony had like a really rough time. They'd had the massive hack, you know? And it was just like, it wasn't doing great. The whole joke was always, they always had system updates to deal with. And they were like, all right, sorry, here's some games. There's lots of cool games. That's what you're here. That's what you care about. You like this machine because it plays games, right? Like that's the whole point. And everyone's like, yes, yes, yes. And then they're like, we've worked together closely with J.K. Rowling herself to create an authentic augmented reality Harry Potter experience. And then it was like a 10-minute demo of this kid reading a fake book.
My
and
God.
Like, we were just like,
it was the 10 longest minutes in the world, actually. I believe that you can actually watch the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy director's cut during the Wonderbook section of that press conference.
Although
it was so long. It took all of the life out of the room, like all of the rhythm and energy that was going with all the stuff we had seen so far. And then it was just like, here's a book. No one in this room will ever play this.
It was literally the only moment in press conference history at IGN where everyone didn't have to work. We just stopped working because like, well, there's nothing to write now.
There was nothing.
We have nothing
happening
to write. We have nothing to shoot. We're just
and
sitting here.
And that's the cool thing we should talk about. You know, this will be my 7th E3 at IGN. Max will be your first, but you've been to a bunch of E3s before.
This is my 53, I think.
You can kind of tell in the room when something's working or when something isn't, because we're not like robots. We're not even real adults.
Nope.
Like we get really excited during E3, and in that war room where we're all sitting, when there's an announcement, we go crazy for it because we're going to be playing those games too.
Yeah.
And there are times when that stuff happens, like Wonderbook, where we go, oh, well, this E3 is not just for us. It's for the New York Times. It's for CNN. It's for CNET. It's for, the New Yorker. Like, they're going to send a guy. There's like a little guy in the corner with a feather in his hat, and he's like, there's a book based on Harry Potter. You can play it on the floor.
Wonderbook wasn't for anyone because I don't think anyone bought it.
Yeah, no one bought it. So
ever come out?
Yeah.
They did?
Now, I don't think the J.K. Rowling thing, but there was like a thing about a slug who was a detective.
Yeah, it's
Little slug.
Are you actually are you 100% sure that it came out?
I'm 100%
Yes.
sure because I went to a Walmart and bought it.
Okay. All right, there we go. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, that's one of those things that I don't really feel that guilty about it, but
Yeah.
I just really aggressively ignored it.
Yeah.
So a lot of ups and downs in that one, kind of all over the place. I want to go to the year 2013.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which
Oh, yeah.
was a year of almost no downs and just entirely this was round 10 in like the heavyweight boxing match, right? And this was at the end of the first very long day on E3 where you've seen every press conference. Microsoft had theirs. They announced the pricing for the Xbox One. They announced they were sort of trying to get out from under that draconian game sharing nonsense that they'd explained. They really made it seem like the always online DRM nightmare dystopia future was a thing we'd all have to deal with forever.
Yeah, they announced the $500
Yep.
SKU.
They in the same way that Sony almost set the course for that $599 systems almost became the regular had it not been for that audible gasp in the room. Microsoft had almost created a world where playing video games is a lot more difficult than it should be.
Yep.
And sharing them was incredibly difficult. So Sony came on after them, which was, an amazing moment, and it's now 6 o'clock at night on a Monday night,
yeah.
and we're all in this giant room in IGN, and we're watching this press conference, and Sony announces not only the price for the PS4, but they also announce how game sharing works, and this is my single favorite moment in E3 history. They have Shuhei Yoshida and Adam Boyes, who are two PlayStation guys, and they came up and they said, "Here's how game sharing works on PS4." And Shuhei handed the game to Adam Boyes.
Yeah.
And they said, "That's it."
That is.
And it was it was quiet, it was warm, it was subtle, it was beautiful, and it was awesome.
I believe the correct
so good.
expression is "Pew, pew, 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 pew."
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah, it
was
was
such
awesome.
that was just an epic mic drop.
It was
That
awesome. It
incredible.
was like this whole Nas and Jay-Z thing, and it was so good because there was nothing anybody at Microsoft could do. And I remember there was a guy that worked in the room, I won't say his name, who worked for Xbox, and he came after his press conference being like, "How was that?" And we were like, "Great, good job, really awesome." He's like, "Can I watch the PlayStation one with you guys?" And we watched it with him, and he was like, "Damn it."
Yeah, that was insane. That was
I got on camera and live on the air. I pre-ordered my PS4 from Amazon, and I said, if you're going to want to pre-order your PS4 right now, and you're going to want to join the winning team, because these guys are going to take this messaging and they're going to dominate with it." And I still think to this day that has really been what has caused their leap in the console wars over Microsoft. Microsoft's messaging was messy, and then they spent the next 3 days like unraveling it and saying sorry, and they put up this whole thing that they then pulled down all these rules of what you could and couldn't do.
No, it's a complicated mess.
That whole conference was just win after win. It was re-revealing Final Fantasy 15. It was showing Kingdom Hearts 3. It had Infamous, The Order. It was then sort of laying out their indie plan where they brought out like 10 indie developers on stage standing up and being like, "Yes, this is like we're getting behind these guys 100%."
Yeah. I think that it's interesting to look at just like I love looking at the kind of the history, the hindsight of this, because it's the triptych effect. It's trying, or not the triptych, it's the hat trick. You know, it's when you try to get 3 in a row, and like the N64 was Nintendo's third console, but there wasn't really any kind of precedent set.
Yeah.
The Sega, am I right here? The Sega CD is also kind of, or not the Sega Saturn was Sega's, and they were like, "Here's the thing we're gonna," and it was like, you get kind of sloppy.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the kicker to Empire Strikes Back is that Vader is Luke's father, and then
hey man.
Sorry, I know you're getting through it.
While wearing a Star Wars
like,
shirt.
how do you top that? Because like it's people like humans are, however it is our brains are wired, we like threes because there's something kind of exciting about that to us.
Yep.
But so often everything you try to do right in the second installment, you try to one up in the third.
Yeah.
Or conversely, which you see this more with, I think, products, is you get kind of like, wow, the second went really well. They'll love whatever we do with this next one. The Xbox One is Microsoft's PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like,
Yeah.
it is. The word is hubris. Like it was just this bloated kind of like, you know what?
Yeah.
They'll come along for the ride, and it's. I don't like. We're
And
kind of ending.
that's kind of the messaging that's really important in the history of the video game industry, is that there's there's no guarantee win forever.
Yeah.
You know, you can be at the top of the world and then fall and then climb back up. I mean, we saw it with Nintendo, we saw it with PlayStation, and you know, maybe we'll see it again with Xbox. Like this E3 in a month, Sony could come out and do the worst, dumbest thing in the world. They could do an hour of Wonder Book 2, and maybe the console wars will change. Maybe everything will change in a heartbeat. But I have a feeling that won't happen.
Yeah. Let's hope.
Let's hope.
What do we got from the fine folks watching at home?
We
if you'd
have-
like to tweet at us,
Yep,
maybe
that's-
be read out loud by Brian.
That's right. That's hashtag Beyond.
Hashtag Beyond.
Shawn Michaels, that's Pretty Girl Bot. I don't know if that's the wrestler.
It is the Heartbreak Kid.
The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, says the most cringe-worthy moment I can think of a bad E3 moments was the Wonder Book demo that went on forever.
Yep.
Hashtag Beyond. Yeah, we were there for that. That was it's very tough. Trogdor_6, that's Potato King, says Sean from Hello Games, they're the ones making No Man's Sky, says he won't be at any conferences until No Man's Sky releases. Do you think he'll show up and say it's out?
No.
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think we're ready for that one yet, right?
No, I don't think so. I think that's a game that is Sony realizes how sort of special it is right now in people's hearts and in our perception, and sort of everything they've shown so far has been tonally perfect.
Yep.
And so they want to make sure that they continue that goodwill.
That's right.
And I think Sean Murray is going to be at E3, so I don't know.
So Jay Schnitzel, that's Judas Schnitzel, says,
sounds
"Do you?"
delicious.
It does. Do you guys think that we'll see a new Hitman game at the Square Enix press conference? Hashtag Beyond. It's possible. I think the fact that they even have a conference shows that
They have stuff to show.
Yeah,
and we
at
know
least an hour.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, we know that Deus Ex is coming. I mean, it's been a couple of years. I have a feeling Hitman's.
That was it
Hitman,
Revelations? Revolution?
no.
Yep.
Resolution?
Yeah, Hitman Resolution.
Resolution?
Yeah.
Is that Derez Tessellation? I don't know.
So,
Going with the Cobra in the bathtub or whatever.
Tyler Robertson, that's T Robertson 206, says the big question I know everyone is thinking: how much time will we set aside for Vita? Hashtag Beyond. Good question.
Yeah. So that's what 2012 totally could have been.
Yeah.
That was I know you're waiting around. We got this other thing we just put out.
Yeah.
Here's all the support for it. They had a little bit here and there, but like, I think that at that point they realized that, like the Vita and the PS4 are like designed to work together.
Yeah.
The PS3 and the Vita are kind of like they didn't really mix together.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see some stuff with PlayStation Now.
Yep.
I don't know if they've been working on that or what, or if that's something they're still kind of testing out.
Yeah, I think stuff like that works because you can kind of make the library more robust without putting a ton of specific development into it. Same thing happens with like cross-buy games. Like I think we'll see stuff that's coming to PS4 that's also on Vita.
That's what I think we'll see. When we'll see the most Vita is when there's the inevitable indie montage.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
All of
it's
these
coming
are coming
to
to
everything.
Vita.
Yeah.
And that's so
great.
exciting.
That's why I love
I
the Vita
love
for
that.
it.
Also keep in mind that there's more to E3 than just the press conferences. Last year, and I believe the year before, there wasn't a ton of Vita stuff, but there was a ton on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember there was something like 16 Vita-specific titles on the floor.
yeah.
Sony's booth at E3 is gigantic. It's like 3 football fields, and it's got nice carpeting, which we love because
it's
we
so
walk
great.
around for 5 days. When you get over
sorry.
there,
Yo,
I don't want
plush.
to get like too like fanboy here, but
Yeah.
I want to point out that at GDC this year, like Sony had they had like lovely
Yeah, they
carpet.
did.
I went over to Microsoft, which was immediately next to it, and they'd put like laminate hardwood flooring over the existing carpet in the convention center. Like there was already a carpet down, and they put hardwood over it.
I don't know who's gonna
Made my feet hurt. I didn't like it one bit at all. It was awful.
I don't know who's going to win the console wars, but I know who is going to win the carpet wars. Hashtag carpet wars, and it's Sony. Thank you, Shuhei Yoshida. You put that carpet budget every year, and you take care of our nice baby feet. They're so tired walking around all the
You
time.
make my shoes say, "Hey, thanks."
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the carpet
That was
wars.
Stupid.
God.
Seriously,
That's
if you
terrible.
get insults for a trade show. So if you're aspiring journalists out there, that's some pro tips from the pros.
Speaking of getting a little how the sausage is made. Wait, here we are. Yeah.
That's not what we do on this podcast, but okay.
No. A nudist
Put some
emailed us.
rosemary in there and some
He's
grind
making
it
a
up.
nice sauce. Yesterday we
An
taught you how to make a
all-natural
sauce on
casing
IGN
is
Live.
to the
A nudist says, Beyond from the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. Love the show. Keep up the original content. With E3 around the corner, I was curious as to what a behind-the-scenes look at E3 is like for you guys. How much do you know beforehand from possible behind-closed-doors announcements? What's been the biggest surprise for you? And he said for him, nothing. It's not E3, but sort of the PT. There's a thing, it exists, and it's out now.
Right.
And that was Gamescom. Was the biggest for him. So, yeah, I mean, just
Maybe they'll put PT back on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah, I mean, going to E3, there are plenty of surprises. There are plenty of things we don't know about. But at the same time, there is a couple of us are going down to LA next week for a thing called Judges Week, where it's a pre-E3 briefing where we see a handful of games, we have to play them, and we have to sign waivers that say we will not talk about them until the show opens. So that's the way that when the show opens, you can go to IGN and there are 30 previews of all the games.
Yeah,
because no human being can write those in
that fast,
0 seconds.
Yep.
So there's a certain amount of stuff we do know, and there's always a certain amount of massive surprises.
I think my most impressive surprises are the ones WB has been really good about this. Like Injustice, for instance, was something that they. I got to see it because I went to E3 the night before it was open or whatever, and I was walking around the convention center, and they had all these banners up, and I'm like,
"This is cool looking.
The hell is this?"
Yeah.
And I think they did the same thing with Mad Max, or maybe they talked about it, But like you'll get these kind of the 6 weeks leading up to E3 when trademarks start getting registered.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh. That's a weird thing. That's a name I've never heard before.
And when like all of a sudden a game is on the side of like the Figueroa downtown LA,
that's
and
always
there's like a banner on top of the LA Convention Center.
Yeah,
I always like that.
I don't know. The scale is really something you don't get to really fully appreciate unless you're there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gabriel Arizon, that's Sun Devil G. What up, Sun Devil G? Says, how much time do you think will be dedicated to Morpheus? Now, you have a weird prediction for this, Marty.
So yeah,
Max and I think is insane, but let it out. Let's hear
I
it.
have a weird Morpheus prediction. That game is very hard to demo, or that product is very hard to demo.
All VR helmets kind of are, right?
Yeah, like Max, I mean, you had an amazing VR experience, and you relayed it to the audience on Beyond, but it was very much like you just had to tell a story. I think there is going to be a point in the Sony conference where literally everyone in the audience is going to have a VR headset and put it on for a 10-minute demo, and all of us watching at home are going to be like, what the hell is happening?
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah.
There was the Kinect reveal where everyone put on robes.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was a strange thing.
Don't do
That's
that.
right.
Don't wear those robes.
In 2004, Kaz Hirai let about 1,000 live bats into the room. Everyone had to fight them.
You're given a bracelet at Taylor
Arkham
Swift
City
concert.
is getting exclusive content.
Real room
Fly,
bats.
my pretties. No, I think that Morpheus, we are definitely going to see a lot of VR stuff.
Yeah.
I was speaking on a panel last week. It was a virtual reality conference right here in San Francisco. It's still pretty small because that hasn't really popped yet. That's just kind of just below the surface. Because again, it's something to get the general public excited about it. They kind of have to experience it for themselves. The Samsung VR Gear thing is waiting to drop. That's
right.
kind of about to go public, and that's I think that really when they start having VR headsets in Verizon stores and in at Best Buy, and people are like trying them on, and they're like, "Whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
So,
how does this work?"
Yeah, that's another thing. Is I could definitely see Morpheus also being like, and now at 200 Best Buys across the country, you can go and play it.
That's I think that's much more believable.
Yeah, keep in mind that's absolutely something that's been happening more and more during E3. Nintendo just announced today that Mario Maker will be at Best Buy, and that's their September game. I think we're going to get to see a lot of that. So I have a feeling if you don't live near a Best Buy, you should move soon, or just start hanging out there right now, because next month
not like
probably
that Adnan boy though.
Yeah,
don't be that. Don't be that, man.
Next month probably in Best Buys or Circuit City or Target. Circuit City. Yeah, go to a Circuit City.
Go to a Radio Shack.
Go to those all the haunted stores that haven't been open in 15 years. Okay, I have a tough one here. A lot of people are asking this question. No one wants to talk about it, but let's do it. Peter Herf says, #Beyond, will we see the last Guardian at E3? I know. So what I do at The Last Guardian is I pretend it doesn't exist anymore, so that if there's ever any news about it, I can get excited instead of constantly hoping for it to be there and then it's not and being disappointed.
That game is going to be like the $20 you find in your jeans in like 7 years. You're like, whoa, free money.
Yeah. I mean, so that's, for me, the E3 in 2009 where we saw that first demo, I think when it was called Trico.
Yep.
That is probably my favorite Sony E3 memory, because I'm, as someone who holds Eco and Shadow of the Colossus up on the highest gaming pedestals, seeing what that team was doing next. But the fact that this game has been in development for 10 years, we always bring up the fact, though, that in that same amount of time, Naughty Dog has done Jack X, Uncharted 1, 2, 3, Last of Us Remastered, and presumably Uncharted 4 will be out before that, which is just madness. I mean, everyone makes a prediction that Uncharted or that Last Guardian will be there. I don't know.
Don't do it.
No, TGS.
Don't do it.
TGS?
It'll be TGS.
Are you going to keep kicking that can down the road like that? All
There'll
right.
be a giant bird dog unleashed upon the streets
We
of
can go to the zoo
Makuhari
next
Messe.
Sunday, kids.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. That's rough. I think we're gonna see some new stuff, and there's gonna be a few things that we get really excited about because there's super high concept announcements that we're like, whoa, this is crazy, this is huge, and then they're gonna kind of roll to a stop when they actually come out, because that's a lot of what E3 is, and you see this very clearly if you go back and look at old coverage. Like you mentioned, was it 8 weeks?
8 days.
8 days. I watched the demo of that. I missed that. That was a year that I wasn't paying too close attention, so I only really watched it once earlier at my desk. That game looks really impressive now. And they were like, this is on PS3. And I'm like, you're actually lying.
You're lying, man. Yeah.
And not true. And we always get stuff like that. Like that was kind of what the initial Watch Dogs reveal was. It's always going to be something that really hypes you up. It's a proof of concept. So that being said, I think we're also going to get stuff that we know is like a safe bet. I will be so surprised and violently drunkenly angry if Fallout 4 does not get announced. Like at this point, if that didn't happen, I think there would be tears. Like people would just be really upset and just like, why would you?
Why are you having a conference? Why is this happening? Why are these Easter eggs in these games?
But what happens with big reveals like that and big announcements, and we frequently see this with Ubisoft. Ubisoft is huge about this. Is that they will announce a thing. Sometimes, like they'll announce a game at somebody else's demo, and then they'll show off more of it at theirs or at their presser.
Totally, yeah.
And there's definitely going to be that overlap between here and there.
Yeah, especially with Bethesda, with EA, with Ubisoft, with the next day with Square.
So let's get into some actual down and dirty predictions here.
Ooh,
what do we think? What do we think is going to happen, Max? What do you want? What do you want this show to start with?
I think that the odds are pretty good that we're going to see Star Wars Battlefront in the first half of Sony's presser.
Okay. Now you and I saw that at Star Wars Celebration.
And they
it
were
was
like,
running on
this is
PS4.
a special tailor-made demo just for you at Celebration. And I think that we're probably going to see something really similar.
Yeah.
Like
which is fine.
Playing as Darth Vader or something, some different side of that.
Because I will gladly watch that again. You and I were very hyped.
Also, that thing's not on the internet, so people want to see that.
Yeah, shockingly, it didn't leak or go anywhere.
It's impressive.
I think the show is going to open with another shooter. I think it's going to open with Call of Duty. I think Sony show. I think this is going. Their first party lineup is kind of not super solid right now.
Right.
A lot of their games, I think, are a ways down the road, and so they're going to start associating themselves with a lot of huge third-party games like they have with Destiny. They're probably going to do with more Ubisoft games. But Brian Albert, who previewed Black Ops 3 for us, played it on a PS4. And generally, that has always been an Xbox One thing. So if the Microsoft conference goes by and we're like, we didn't see Black Ops, I would not be surprised that Sony opens with a Black Ops 3 single-player demo.
Third-party developers follow the money, and the PS4 is reaching the biggest numbers and the most audience right now. So I think we're going to start seeing that tide shift. Like last generation, Microsoft was the console that everyone identified to have their third-party games on, and every third party had exclusive content and early timed release exclusivity on Microsoft's console. And I think things are going to start turning around for PlayStation in that regard. I think they already have. So we're going to see stuff with Battlefront. We're going to see stuff with whatever game we were just talking about that I just blanked on, Call of Duty. And I think, and this is crazy, but speaking of shooters, I think that we're going to see some stuff with Titanfall 2. And I have a feeling that Titanfall 2 is going to lean a lot more on the PlayStation 4 side.
That's crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's totally crazy, but this is a crazy E3 prediction show.
Yeah.
So.
No, and that totally...
Forget about it!
Because, I mean, Microsoft does have two massive first-party shooter franchises with Halo and with Gears of War.
Yeah.
So I could totally see Sony being like, hey, instead of, Killzone's never been as big as those, and let's start putting our money behind other developers.
Chris B, that's Vault 404, says, what are the chances of Beyond Good and Evil 2 finally showing up as something something other than a fever dream, #Beyond? God, I would love it. Yeah. I know you would love it, right? You were really into that game.
I adore that game.
But it seems kind of dead. We did see that teaser trailer a couple years back that looked really cool.
Weird
there was
demo
a CG
concept art stuff.
Teaser, and then there was a gameplay demo that ended up, a lot of the assets seemed like, or the animation seemed like they went into the Assassin's Creed series.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of horizontal parkour. Mitch and I were actually talking a while ago, and he thinks that Ubisoft has announced during their earnings call yesterday, they said that later on in 2015 they're going to announce a game that is going to be out first quarter of 2016.
Wow.
And Mitch thinks it's Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Wow.
That it's going to be this sort of, we haven't seen it for a while. We know that, they've been working on it. We know Michel Ancel sort of has carte blanche at that studio. And so, he thinks the game's super far along, that we're going to see it re-revealed, and then we'll be playing it within 9 months.
Yeah, the only thing bad about Beyond Good and Evil were the sales.
Yeah.
I mean, it did not sell well. It did not reach a lot of people, and that was, it was kind of a riskier time in the video game industry. I mean, it's always a risky time because these properties cost millions of dollars. Yeah. But I think there's a chance that it could return, and I think on the PS4 it could sell very well.
Yeah, completely agree. Stu sent us an email saying, here's a wild E3 prediction. Rockstar announces next-gen bully with multiplayer, open-world schoolyard. How awesome would that be?
I don't think Rockstar is going to do anything at E3 because they don't really do that.
As much as I want this very game he is writing about, Rockstar and Valve are those companies that are bigger than E3.
Activision or Blizzard doesn't really I mean, a lot of these companies they have their own things.
That being said, there is a PC gaming press conference this year. And I think that it's very likely we will be seeing Valve showing off their Vive, their VR stuff, because the VR stuff is still, they're trying to get people paying attention to it. Rockstar, though, I highly doubt it. We might see, I don't know. So we already saw the PS4 bundle with GTA 5.
Yeah, but maybe we'll see whatever the Lost in the Damned or Ballad of Gay Tony is.
Exactly. Yeah. That's something that wouldn't surprise me. Is we haven't actually had any proper DLC for GTA 5, but they're still basically tied to GTA 5 at this point. I don't think we're going to see Bully.
Yeah, now that online heists are finally out the door, I wouldn't be surprised of a big sort of chunk of.
Where's Agent? Remember that game?
Yeah, and then what was the Team Bondi's Horror of the Orient?
Yeah.
A lot of games that are just sort of.
Wow, a game called Horror of the Orient. Where could that go wrong? I mean, really.
Well, there's two places in that phrase where it went wrong.
Dan Salas says, will Sony announce the Vita and PS4 bundle and finally the same connectivity Vita and PS3 had, e.g. data transfer? I think that bundle will never happen. I think there was a time and place for that. I think that there was a brief moment where people thought that there would be a lot more sort of communication between the PS4 and the Vita, and it's kind of there. It didn't really catch on. If you look at PS4 sales and you look at Vita sales, that just hasn't translated, and I don't think that shoving them all in the same box is really gonna.
What are the odds of seeing a new version of the Vita get revealed?
I think slim to none. Honestly,
the Vita slim to none. The even tinier.
What? All right, shut down. We're not
all right.
15 minutes of dead air.
I think that they could definitely. I mean, they could probably turn some heads. I know that they're harping on like the remote play stuff and that kind of thing. Yeah. The plans we saw, the patents we saw for the newest iteration of the Vita had supposedly an HDMI port in there. It'd be really interesting if we had like a Vita you plug into your PS4 that plays your PS4 games and has two triggers so you can actually properly play it, and it doesn't screw with your latency, and it does basically everything that the Wii U does in terms of like. Somebody wants to watch something else on TV and you want to shoot guys in the face.
That's right.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Tobo the Hobo says, do you guys foresee... real name. Says, do you guys foresee a price drop, slim PS4, or new SKU with a larger hard drive announced at E3? I think that the hard drive thing is interesting.
Yeah.
It's not impossible to mod your own. I really don't see a price drop happening. No. I'm going to go out on a limb and say 99% chance we don't see a price drop. There's no reason to drop the price of something that's selling incredibly well.
I think
next year.
We'll see bundles.
Yeah, totally.
We'll see more bundles. We'll see like an all spooky Until Dawn edition.
I could totally see a bigger hard drive attached to a Call of Duty bundle.
Yeah. So guys,
or a Battlefront bundle that looks like a Darth Vader.
It's been
looks like an actual AT Walker.
It's been
all-terrain armored transport, Marty.
It's been 47 minutes and we haven't said the words Uncharted 4. So we should probably talk about Uncharted 4. Yes, it's delayed. Yes, it's coming out in 2016. Yes, I think it's going to kick off their conference.
Whoa!
I think the first thing we'll see is Nathan Drake breathing heavily, panting, looking sad.
And then it'll zoom in on his hair, which is literally growing.
We had a story the other day. We had a story about how Uncharted 4 has 5 times as many facial animations as The Last of Us.
That's more facial animations than I have.
Which is a lot. Even though most of the facial animations in The Last of Us were just like...
pain and sadness,
which is funny because
frowning.
Uncharted also has less emotions that would be expressed through facial animations because The Last of Us has lots of emotions, but Nathan Drake has just 2. He has shooting guys and then making a joke. Those
Yeah,
are 2
that's
emotions.
right.
Cracking wise, cracking skulls and cracking wise.
Getting into mischief and then chuckling.
Yeah, so I think we'll see an amazing single-player demo. I also think they will say, hey, also the Uncharted trilogy remastered for PS4 is a real thing.
That's right.
You think it's going to be available immediately?
I do think that it'll be available. Maybe if not that day, it'll be available that week or that month, that window.
Yeah.
They'll basically say this is the Uncharted trilogy. You can play it on PS4. It's all of the old games remastered. We got rid of that awful using the motion to throw a grenade thing from the first one.
Yeah.
And it'll have a demo for Uncharted 4 or something, some
sort
of vertical slice.
We got an email from Charlie Manny who wrote in with a bunch of his E3 predictions. First one is Uncharted 4 multiplayer beta slated for fall winter.
Yeah.
I think that having that attached to a remastered edition would make a ton of sense.
Yeah, I don't know if there'll be the multiplayer beta. I really think we'll see a small piece of the single player campaign, which is weird because they've never really done that.
That's a good. What do you guys think? Like write us in, let us know what you think. We should have a poll for this or something.
Hashtag Beyond. Tell us what I mean. We have a big hunch and we really want. I think it's a lot of we want this to happen, but the Uncharted trilogy, like I want to play those games again, and I know there's a lot of people on PS4 that have never played them at all.
Yeah.
So you'll hopefully get 3 games in one box, and maybe there'll be a little piece of Uncharted 4 in there to tide us over.
It's just a little data.
Yep. It'll just be the dagger spinning in the corner. You can watch that, but it'll look really good.
And it'll come with a copy of the soundtrack, but only for the soundtrack of the song in Uncharted 2 When You Die, which is that Vuvuzela.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. That was my wedding song.
I like to listen to that song when I want to relax. I just put it on.
I usually get my wife to yell, "Nate, no!"
You fell off the train.
It's a truck, Nate. You're supposed to be on the truck.
You got shot by the tank.
Now I want an Uncharted game where Sully actually yells the things that happen to you.
You gotta grab the yellow stuff. That's the trick. Is the yellow things are the ones you can grab.
The shiny branches on the tree are the safe ones, Nate. No,
it's the damn Yetis.
It's a man in a suit.
Ah, scarabs.
All right.
What do we do here?
Hashtag Beyond. Hit us up. We're going on for 10 more minutes.
I had a handful of interesting ones in an email.
That's right.
Speaking of Italy, Jackson from New Jersey.
Oh, speaking of Italy, I'm making a nice sauce.
Emerald Agassi. No, Jackson wrote in. He's got 4 of them. Go through them quick. Number 1, Sony announces that they've acquired the Silent Hill IP from Konami and are developing
no way.
Alongside.
No way.
That's just one I like.
No,
that's not going to happen.
That's a thing that happens in like video game high school where like a couple breaks up and then the other guy is dating the new girl and he's like, "Haha, got you back." But in the reality is like that would be 17 years of lawsuits.
That's the end of Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Your parents are divorced, but your old fake housekeeper has a TV show.
Thanks for that incredibly topical Mrs. Doubtfire.
I'm sorry, it's fresh on my mind.
For the other 3 of you who watched it
Max and I watched it together last night.
That is such wishful thinking.
I know. I wish.
Mom and Dad they get back together.
But then again, I mean, Shuhei Yoshida and Adam Boyes have really been on some superhero-ish the last few years, and I think they could probably swoop in and pick something like that up.
Yeah.
But I think it's too soon.
Yep, agreed. A couple more. Ni no Kuni 2 is announced. Level 5 is developing. SE's publishing.
We had a guy who used to work here who called it Ninu Nana.
The Wrath of the Wawawiwa.
Yeah.
Sony Bend will reveal their new game. Very specifically, it's a third-person shooter set on a dystopian alien planet that focuses on exploration and mystery rather than shooting.
Huh. That sounds cool as hell, but
so
I don't know.
Another big thing is what are these latent Sony Studios doing? Like, what is Ben doing? What is Santa Monica doing aside from God of War? Which God of War is how I think the show's going to end.
You think so?
I think it's going to end with a God of War demo.
Interesting.
And Kratos is going to...
Hashtag Beyond. Let us know how you think...
a large man.
Let us know what you think some of their first-party studios are working on.
Media
and what
Molecule.
You think the show will end with.
Pet. They'll make a Media Molecule as a great new game about paper bags or something.
And I will play it and love it.
It's actually it's just a giant house full of glitter. Ryan Turford says, "Never forget the Subway presents the Uncharted 3 multiplayer beta." I did forget that, Ryan Turford, and now it's back in my brain.
I forgot it until now.
I do remember. I remember the heavy Nathan Drake mod. That was really cool.
That was
remember that?
Yeah,
it was great. Tyler McMullen says,
$5 footlong.
Nate, no, that's not on the discount menu.
They put avocado on there.
Oh, Ricardo Guajardo, that's his name. That's awesome. Says, any chance at E3 there will be Bloodborne DLC announced? I hope so. I would love that. Bloodborne was huge for Sony. It's huge for me personally. I would love to play Bloodborne DLC.
Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 had
got tons of DLC
announced.
Yeah, so let's see. I would love to see they just put you in a haunted castle and you have to kill a giant eyeball.
It's going to have a really cool sounding name, but also one that we're going to make fun of.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the Dark Souls 2?
Scholar of the First Sin.
Scholar of the First Sin. That's like a thesaurus hitting you on the head.
Yeah.
Being like, huh.
Yeah, interesting.
Scholars, eh?
Bloodborne, Vial of Despair.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Creepy old rug at the cathedral. I don't know. Whole room full of pots.
Stoopsy1 says, new Pokemon, more a hope than a prediction, but ideally both. Keep wishing. That will not be at the PlayStation press conference.
I think the Pocket Monsters,
that would be a huge get.
That would also just be very confusing.
Yeah, exactly.
I predict that Mewtwo is going to walk out on stage, and then Sony security is going to escort him out because he's not supposed to be there.
Anubis316 says, Lego Avengers. # Beyond. We got that game. Marvel Heroes.
Yeah,
we got a Lego Marvel game.
Yeah. During the Sony conference, if you go on PSN, you can download it. There you go. It happened. You just made that happen.
Wow. Yeah, that's a fun game. I like that game.
So do I.
I think we're going to see a lot of Lego Dimensions.
Oh my god.
Justin Ryan Bear says, do you think we'll get a new Twisted Metal? Jaffe's kind of busy, so I don't know if it'll come from him.
Drawn to Death.
Yeah.
Twisted. We had the one that came out 2012 for PS3. A lot of people forgot about that. I think it was just called Twisted Metal.
Yep.
Yeah.
That had one of the coolest E3 demos, and then when it actually came out, I was like, not crazy about this.
Yeah.
The driving controls in that were they were very true to the old ones, but it was like, have you played a driving game since then? Since Triggers came along?
Man, I really like Twisted Metal 2 though.
Bantosaurus Rex says Guerrilla Games still has that new IP to announce, don't they?
Yeah. Concept art has leaked supposedly of it's like an open world action RPG where you sort of play as like robot ninjas and you fight dinosaurs.
Yep. I love all those words. Shove all those words together, put them in a game.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Reboot of fruit snacks that you ate when you were 8. All your favorite gummies are back and it's time. Oh no, the frogs are white on the bottom. Hammerhead sharks.
Yep.
Everyone's
the game's called Being 10 Years Old in the 90s.
Literally only 90s kids will remember that.
What do you got? You got anything? I can keep going over here.
Yeah, keep going.
Corey Martinez says, E3, we will see the crossover for Assassin's Creed and The Order.
Nope. No. I mean, Syndicate and The Order sort of take place around the same time period, except one has werewolves.
Yeah.
McDonald's will start selling the Whopper.
That is not going to happen. Here's an interesting one.
I'm sorry. Fun piece of trivia about Marty. His Twitter handle, McBiggity, is something he tried to order at a McDonald's.
Yeah,
Max and I heard the story on our other show the other day.
Yeah, I was McBiggity came from me being intoxicated after a game of baseball. I was watching the baseball. I was not participating, and then I went to order the largest size something at McDonald's.
That's how we tie it to the order.
I got into a small argument because I insisted that their largest size was the McBiggity, and she insisted that it was large.
I was trying to order a little spicy chicken guy.
5 minutes left in the show. We just revealed, if you're just tuning in, that McDonald's is partnering with Naughty Dog to announce the exclusive multiplayer beta of the spinning dagger logo in Uncharted. Brought to you by McDonald's.
It's just going to be a French fry just spinning over there.
Then there's Church's Chicken gritty remake of Castlevania.
I'm excited for E3. We're gonna get some new games.
Stoopsy1 says Resistance or Ratchet and Clank. We gonna see anything from those games?
I think Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, we know it's being worked on.
There's a movie.
There's a movie. TJ Fixman's writing it. They announced the voice cast. It's like
Stallone's in it.
Maybe they'll show the whole film.
So I think we're going to see 2 movie things at Sony. I think we're going to see some Ratchet
Stallone's
and Clank stuff.
in it?
And I think Stallone's in the Ratchet and Clank movie.
What? I didn't know that.
I think we're going to see Ratchet and Clank stuff, and I think they're going to reveal something about the Last of Us movie.
Yeah,
we haven't heard about that since Comic-Con.
That would be a hell of a place to drop a trailer.
Sam Raimi's involved in it. Arya Stark is playing Lil Ellie. Lil Ellie, my favorite hip hop artist. While we're wrapping up beforehand, I think we can talk about a big Beyond event that's coming up.
That's right.
Yeah. On June 27th, we're locking down the venue but it's going to be in San Francisco.
We're locking it down with you inside.
We're keeping it locked. So
Yeah.
turn into Carrie. Saturday, June 27th, we are joining forces with another podcast that I co-host called Podcast Unlocked, which is the world's largest Xbox
Traitor.
podcast. We're going to end the console wars on Saturday, June 27th.
We're gonna do it
with
live.
swords.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a live, massive Beyond 400, Unlock 200
/ meet and greet /
slash
party
meet and greets.
day.
Yeah,
like-
we're going to be. There's going to be us.
What's the date again?
Saturday, June 27th in San Francisco.
In San Francisco, book your flights. Start looking for hotels and hostels. Call up your friends. Sleep on their couches.
Yeah.
You cannot stay at mine.
Stay at Houseboat with the Barnacles.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is that a band?
Yeah, Houseboat with the Barnacles. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. We got special things lined up. Brian Altano will shake 3 hands.
Yeah.
Just
Not
3?
a fourth, though. Just
Will you
3.
win the lucky handshake?
I'm actually only going to shake a guy's hand if he has 3 hands. If you're a cool dude with 3 hands, I'll talk to you. Everyone else is getting hugs.
The lucky 3 who Brian shakes hands with, you'll win a cooler prize later.
That's right.
how lucky this handshakes are.
That's right.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
There's a
Who
gold
knows?
ticket.
Do we have one last comment from the lovely viewers at home? Thank you.
Yeah,
guys for
this is
watching
one
if
for
you're
you,
watching
Max.
us live.
Logan Samuel says, "Do you think we'll get a new Red Dead?"
No.
No. Hey, come on, and then a positive note.
Where's Javier Escuela?
How do we get a new Motor Storm? And I hope they're in space this time.
K Murda says, "Where's Zone of Enders?" A caveman wrote in.
Konami
That's
has
great.
a lot more to worry about right
Thank
now.
you, K Murda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Konami's going to put a pachinko machine on stage at E3 and just
Yeah.
be like, "We don't care about you anymore."
Yeah. That's good. So what's wrapping up? What
Yeah.
is the behind the sky? The one thing you want to see at the Sony conference? Like if you could just make something happen.
I want to see the new visceral Star Wars game. I want to see what that is. I want that whatever that Star Wars Uncharted thing that was happening for a little while, 1313,
Yeah.
that then became the canceled Boba Fett game. I want to see what that is. I want to see what Amy Hennig's working on. And,
Yeah.
I want that to come to life. I'm so high on Star Wars right now. I've been smoking it all day.
Want to buy some death sticks?
Visceral's been tweeting a lot of teasers about Han Solo. And sort of like hints about that, and like pirates and stuff like that, space pirates.
Well, if we got a smuggling game,
if we get that Han Solo game that I've wanted since I was 5, then yes, 100% yes.
I mean, I always get most excited about the new IPs and things like that. I think it'd be really cool if we got a price point for Morpheus. Maybe a tighter release window other than the first
or an
half
actual
of next
name,
year.
because I don't think Project Morpheus is going to be what that thing's called.
The cool sound hat for your eyes.
I'm totally getting behind that.
iPhones.
Yep.
That might be already taken. My thing would be to see what the hell that game company's been working on since Journey, because that game is one of my faves, and that has been a long time ago. And I would like another game about.
It's a game where you play as a very realistic sheet that's hanging on a clothesline.
Yep.
I would
the
love
makers
that.
of Flower and the one about the scarves.
Yeah, I would. It would be my game of the year because I'm a big weirdo.
It's called Bounce.
It's called Bounce. Yeah.
It's just a laundry commercial that you play. It's got a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's coming out on vinyl. You'll love it.
It's coming out on vinyl. Chris Abbott has it on his desk.
Yeah, I could do this for another hour. I hate that they're shutting us off.
No one's kicked us out yet.
Yeah, no one's kicked us out.
Do they even know?
#Beyond. If you're watching this out there, we're locking the doors. You can't come in. What are you going to do? Pull the plug? Shut us down? You can't do that?
No, they literally can't pull
This
the
is
plug.
the power of PlayStation. It can't be stopped. #Beyond. Love you guys.
I love that you're wearing a pleather jacket with your sleeves rolled up and you're just shouting hashtags. The old teen.
The old teen. Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you watched The Witcher, thank you for watching this. Yeah. Let us know what you thought of the live format. This is we're sort of testing.
It was an experiment.
It was an experiment.
Science experiment. As you can tell from
next
how
week,
we are.
Next week we're going to be going back to a regular format, except for the fact that Brian and I will both be gone. You're going to be on your honeymoon.
I'll be on my honeymoon.
You're
That's
gonna be
right.
gone for 2 episodes.
I'll be in Paris and Barcelona. If you know anything cool to do in those cities besides the Eiffel Tower and eating paella, hit me up. Shoot me a tweet at Agent Bizzle. Marty's at McBiggity.
Yep.
Max is at Max Scoville. Beyond is live where we put the show up every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Except for this week because we have missed
That's
that.
right. We also have a podcast Beyond Facebook group which has a ton of awesome people in it.
Yeah, join up with that.
We do plenty of podcasts here. Marty's on Unlocked. I'm on Nintendo Voice Chat as well. Max hosts videos with me. Come to IGN, watch our videos, read our articles, support everything we do here. Video games are
IGN
awesome.
Prime, get those ads out of there.
That's right. Do all the good stuff. We love what we do here.
Thank you all so much for watching. And on that note, Beyond.
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 How do we turn that on?